ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ybreezy, and tonight we have a fantastic match for you tonight. But before we get into that, I have to introduce you to the man that is head of the table, the man that have conquered your hearts, sang your ears into heaven, the man that has been doing it since the beginning of time, the person who's carried this community with his looks, with his amazing brains, and with amazing skills to cast the games that you've heard, made classics happen, banger after banger. Your undisputed, absolutely undefeated, your Lorcana Villain. My friend, how are you?
Wise man, are there any villains in the LC3 audience tonight? Are there?
I can't hear. I can't. They're here. They are here. They are ready to hear you do exactly what you do best. Deliver a story better than anyone else to have ever done this. You are the greatest for a reason. The needle mover for a reason. You are the head of the table, Lorcana Villain. There's no one better than you.
Wise man, you are family. I love you.
I love you too.
And it is a pleasure to have Ybreezy, the Kuzco enthusiast himself, the main emperor, Kuzco! He's the king of the world, Kuzco! My man, I can't wait for the day we finally meet, and I literally get to be the theme song guy, because that is what's happening. I'm gonna slide on my knees towards you and just burst. What's his name? Breezy! He's the king of the world on Lorcana After Dark. He speaks his mind all the time. Breezy, I love you, dude. It is such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for that very kind introduction. Welcome all to round 3 of the Lorcana Cross Continental Clash, the LC3. I'm excited. I don't normally get to do too many of these, and I did one for round 2, but the stars aligned, and it turned out that this spot, this choice for this match to happen at this time did suit your tribal villain schedule, and it's also a perfect time to get you on the channel. It's been a long time coming, man. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, you were on the list. Like, I've got a list of people that I've been meaning to get on for interviews, getting into the lair, and you are someone that has been on that list for a long while. I'm sorry it hasn't happened already, but as soon as I saw that you had said that you were available for this, I was like, Pavel, I'm throwing myself on my hands and knees. Give me the wise man. Let me cast this and give me the wise man.
When the Lorcana Villain asks for something, it just happens. It's not begging. It's easy. There's nothing that the villain cannot ask and get done, and it's an absolute honor and a dream to do this with you. Like I said, you are been around since day one, and it was an honor to just be able to talk to you, and now an absolute pleasure to do this amazing LC3 matchup. As competition is getting top level, it's getting more difficult to beat out, and it's only gonna get more difficult. And this is one of the most clutch games because it's, I believe, a win or out situation for these two amazing players.
You're right. Yeah, this tournament is double elimination bracket. Both these players currently sitting at 1-1, so it is win and stay in or go home and enjoy the rest of the festivities, the rest of the event. Just a couple of admin bits. First of all, a reminder, it is already the pinned tweet, but this stream is on a 5-minute delay. At this time, I'm just seeing the stream actually pop up, and then there's about a minute of music. So if you say anything in chat for this first 45 minutes before the match starts, we will see it, but we will probably get to it late. But do please let us know if there are any technical issues, if mic levels need to go up or down, anything like that. Also, worth mentioning, this is not an official Lorcana event. This is a third-party event organised by the legendary, the magnificent Pavel. Praise be to Pavel and the entire Pixelborn team. Anyone that's ever been involved with the creation of the LC3, this or the previous one, you have the gratitude of us and the Lorcana community. Thank you to everyone who's involved, all of the players and all of the judges. The judge for today's stream will be Phil, one of the best minds in the biz. So we are in safe hands, Breezy. The players are in safe hands, and the players I appreciate my man Ybreezy being the ultimate hype man for your boy, the Lorcana Villain. But we're here to talk about these incredible, incredible players, Ybreezy. But before we do
it,
we've got 40 minutes before the match starts. And in that time, I'd like to spend at least 30 of those minutes looking at the deck list. I've got slides prepared and everything. We're going to look at what they brought this week, and we're going to look at what they brought in previous weeks. But again, I've been meaning to get you on my channel for a while. I had the pleasure of having JDZ on for the previous stream. Again, it was my first time working with him, and what a guy. That man is going to the moon in Lorcana, 100%. He's got a bright future. But he was another person who, like, it was my first chance to actually get them on the channel. And I'm sure the majority of people already knew who JGZ Quest is. And I'm sure the majority of people also know who you are. But there was one comment on my stream that was like, oh, JDZ was actually new to me. Loved his energy. Gonna check out his stuff. So you never know, Ybreezy. And we try and be beginner friendly, right? So if there is anyone out there who doesn't know who you are, the man, the Emperor Stan, the Kuzco Stan who has been around for a long time, please, like, cook, my brother. You got a couple of minutes, easy. Let the people know, who are you? Who are you?
Well, who am I? That's a deep question, but to kind of go through it in the Lorcana community sense, I'm a person that fell in love with one of the greatest Disney movies of all time in the new Emperor's New Groove. And after that, when this game came out, essentially I was like, there's Kuzco, I'm going to play it. And then after that, I had a lot to say about this game. So we made a little program called Lorcana After Dark, where we chat about everything that is a little bit, sometimes a little bit controversial topics, sometimes just not what needs to be talked about. We go live every Tuesday, Thursday. We have guests on. Lately, we've been playing the game a little bit more to kind of get into more familiarity with the meta, because, doing this casting thing more, I want to get to play the game a lot more on a consistent basis to get into the minds of these players, and that's what we've been doing. So Lorcana After Dark on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, we go live, we yap, we have a good time. But in reality, I'm all about having a good time, having a great energy, and hyping people up. I mean, it's not that hard when you have greatness around you, and that's why I do it. I just see the greatness, and I have to point it out, and that's what I'm here to do. And if you do enjoy that ride, you can check me out. We yap, we're loud, and the energy is always good.
It sure is, and yeah, Ybreezy's Twitter is linked down below, and I assume from Twitter they can find everything they need to concerning After Dark and stuff like that. So, but yeah, allow me the opportunity to say, Ybreezy, because it probably doesn't get said enough, but thank you so much for the energy you've always brought to the Lorcana community, and not just myself. I see you like hyping everybody up, everybody, like, you acknowledging their work and like giving them that pat on the back that a lot of people don't always get, and just being I think a fantastic role model in the community personally. So I'm a big fan of you, mate. I thank you for everything you've done. Long may it continue. And yeah, you went through all that and didn't say Kuzco once. Come on, man, like, you gotta sell the gimmick.
Okay, so the thing is, they're gonna go in and they're gonna be overwhelmed with the amount of Kuzco they've seen, and we're gonna get into it as well, because there is the beloved person in said deck. So we're gonna get into the Kuzco hub. Don't you worry, my friend, because he's back, and we're gonna get into that very, very soon. But yeah, I mean, the Kuzco obsession started when I was very young, and it's just been going on ever since. And when set 1 came out, when you could play him very, very well, I was cooking. And then we turned into the llama, and then now we have the whale, and then we have the Bluesco, which has been seeing a lot of play as well. But I will stand on it. If there's a Kuzco in the deck, I'm going to be a little bit biased towards it. So it's just one of those things where if one of the greatest emperors of all time enters the board state, how can you not be excited about it, right?
I agree. And like, Wanted Llama, like, that's a super good card, mate. And yeah,
so
respect to the Chapter 1 format when Temperamental Emperor was one of the best cards in the game.
Everywhere. Good times.
Did you get your hands on one of the promos from Continentals?
Absolutely. I got it signed.
Good. I was going to say, it wouldn't feel right for Ybreezy to not have a copy of that. So that's awesome, man. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Yeah, it's great to see your energy, and yeah, personally, I'm super thankful for your support and your hype over the course of Lorcana. But yeah, you talk about biasness towards Kuzco, and I'm a little torn tonight myself, Ybreezy, because we've got two fantastic players. EU versus EU, which was what I was hosting last time. I was hosting... I had the pleasure of hosting Artabax versus... Who was that? My mind's gone blank already. My mind's gone blank. Artabax versus Federico. There we go. Two fantastic EU players. And the same is true tonight. But yeah, like Lorcana Decklists, I'm lucky enough to call a friend. We've done a lot of playtesting in the past, and we've met a few times, and absolutely stellar guy. And I'm a big fan of the Artacast on Artabax's channel. They're the podcast that those two do together. And yeah, LD I consider a good mate. I've only met Domingo once at the European Championships, and he did seem like a stellar guy. But I've known LD a lot longer. But at the same time, Domingo is our European champion. So I feel like there's got to be a level of like, you've got to hype your champion, right? Not only that, Breezy, but our champion is running Ruby Amethyst Control, and it was one of the reasons I was so keen to try and cast this game, because this is the only Ruby Amethyst player in the tournament, and like you said earlier, if Domingo loses, he's out of the event. So this could be the last opportunity to see some Ruby Amethyst in the LC3. So if that was going to be, I hope, again, I don't want to say I hope that's not the case, because again, I love LD, I'd love to see him win as well, but this is what I mean, I'm torn.
The villain is in a dilemma. No, are we choosing a friend, or are we choosing glory? And it's going to be a very, very fascinating journey to see in this matchup. It should be very, very fascinating to see, and the matchup is quite nice, quite interesting.
It is,
as we dive into the lists.
Yes, so here we go. So first of all, let's of course sound off the achievements for our players. As I just mentioned, we have Domingo, top 32 in DLC Lille, so not a one-trick pony. That was the first ever DLC, a fantastic performance. And then the winner of the European Championships. And I may be wrong in saying this, but if memory serves, I believe Domingo qualified via a last chance pod, so had that Cinderella story.
He won the pod, and he won the whole thing.
I'm almost certain that that's, like, again, I'm sure someone will correct me, but I think it's the Cinderella story of went on the Friday, won a 32-man pod, qualified, and then went on all the way to become the European champion! So big up Domingo. And Breezy, would you like to run us through LD's player card?
LD, absolutely. He is a top 16 European Championship, same tournament, got super close to the end there. Rank 1 in the Pixelborn, as we are playing through the Pixelborn Connect here, and the co-host of the Artacast, one of the most informational, most, like, if you want knowledge of the game, you listen to this podcast. And LD does one of my favorite things in the community, which is, as the set releases, he does a daily decks as the set comes out. Yeah. And then those decks are perfect positions if you're trying to build from ground zero into the new format and see what you like and what you don't. So he provides so much for the community, and he's one of the best players in the game.
Yeah, LD is fantastic and a really great guy, and yeah, is playing some Sapphire Steel up against Domingo's Ruby Amethyst. So, what have you been playing recently, Breezy? Like, what have you been fluttering with? And
I'm playing the Turn of Dogs.
You're playing Shirt of Dog.
I got the dogs. I got the dogs out. I've been playing that. I'm trying to dip my toes into some Amber Steel and get into the just everything but Sapphire is what I'm trying to play right now, essentially. I just have this mentality of, like, I don't want to play Sapphire at this current stage, because I feel like I'd be lying to myself if I was enjoying if I did that. But if I were to play any Sapphire, I would be playing this exact list, or this exact aggro style of Steel Sapphire aggro here.
Yeah, very, like, Kiwi Bird, really, is what I would call it. You know, shout out to Justin and Harlan Sweet, the originators of this just very curve-oriented, aggressive style of the deck. We saw that, so if we take a minute to switch to bring up the two deck lists that LD brought, weeks 1 and 2. So the week 1... Yeah, week 1 deck list is this bigger one here where you see the Captain Hook. Right. And this list was very similar to what Artabax brought on week 1, which, again, very Kiwi Bird curve oriented, but with a little bit of control, running the 3 Grand Martala and 3 copies of a Long Cane Zeus. Just nice to have that control aspect to immediately pop a 6-cost Tamatoa that you fear might quest and play a free dime. Sharks, like, are seemingly not as popular as they were throughout set 6 format at the moment. That could change, but there are a couple in this tournament. So some cards, some characters are just must answer right. But we see for week 2, the deck down here with the with the Mickey, the Anna, the Doc as the first 3 characters, bottom right. The Wild Haufen, as he's labelled it. We've gone more. We've leaned more into just the aggro, aggressive style. We've taken out the Talers. We're not running a Long Came Zeus anymore. We opted to switch out our Hooks and our Calhoun, and instead switching to the Food Fight Defender, Mickey Mouse. Underestimating him is a recipe for disaster. Shout out to Specky. I know he enjoys this card. And 1 copy of the Floodborn, which is quite interesting as well. The 3/4 stat line is a bit meh, but like with the resist 1, it can be okay. It can be annoying for certain characters to be able to take it out. And it quests for 2, but more than anything, just threatening a shift. But yeah, Mickey certainly having some uses, playing Doc as an extra draw engine, and yeah, this Anna questing for 2 if you have another hero in play. I believe the heroes in this list are Mickey, Anna herself, the Alice, I believe, is a hero, and the Baymax will be a hero, and the Floodborn Mickey. So maybe just under half of the characters apply for this, but that stat line of 1/4 being really good for staying out of the range of things like Storm. And then in week 3, Spessy, we see still leaning into that more aggressive style. We're not seeing Talers or Zeus's. So this week 3 list looks a lot closer to what he played last week. But we are now playing 2 copies of Scrooge McDuck, that big 5/5 quest for 2 body. So that's a bit of a change. And this Chen Po with the 4/7 stat line. Quite tricky to get around by just, again, if there's a coil, then you know, he's just going to get removed by a brawl. But at least demand the coil to be on the board, right? It's not removed immediately by brawl or Medusa or anything. But yeah, what's your thoughts as you look through these decks? Yeah, Breezy, please cook.
I'm a big fan of that. The sticky Mickey, some like to call it. The 1-drop, you have to always answer it, because if not, that character is going to get a few lore right out the gate, and it's always going to cause that threat. I'm very excited to see how the Anna performs with this Scrooge. I believe is also a hero, so it's going to have more hero options in this setup as well. And then the bodyguard extra addition and getting that 2 bodyguard is going to be huge, dealing with a lot of these big damaging characters like Maui on the other end of this matchup here. And I'm really excited to see how this performs, because I think there's a lot of potential to do. Like, this is one of the best decks in the format in my eyes. Just getting that aggro Kiwi curve out. If I'm just going to play better characters per turn than you, I'm going to win regardless. Mindset is very, very fascinating, and I'm just a huge fan of the Cogsworth as well. It's been one of the best cards in the game, in my opinion, since it came out. Just giving resist to everything is such a problem, especially if you're dealing with any type of steel decks or any type of like just challenge it matters kind of decks, or even get rid of that big Maui threat if you're dealing with Ruby. So going into a lot of matchups other than Ruby Sapphire, which has kind of been the big bad of the brand new set we're going in. It kind of has a struggling potential to it, but other than that, I think this deck has a lot of fantastic matchups into this Arcasia's Island format.
Yeah, it's interesting, the Cogsworth, like, because I agree with you, it's a fantastic card, but I've seen a few split voices in the community, like Zanzayed playing a blue steel list, not playing the Cogsworth, not putting any value on that, but a player like Moyen has been standing on the Cogsworth for a long while. So, because the idea of Cogsworth has always been that it helps win the mirror, right? But I've seen some opinions about, like, maybe it doesn't really put in as much work in the mirror and maybe isn't as necessary. So it'll be interesting to see how much that comes up today, although today is not a mirror match, Breezy. Today is Blue Steel versus Ruby Amethyst. So please continue to cook, Breezy. I've got you as a guest on the channel when I want to take advantage of that. The channel have heard me talk about Ruby Amethyst.
Ruby Amethyst is your baby, so it's gonna be hard to beat your knowledge into this. But like, we thought this deck was essentially gone. It was banished into the nether realms, which is never gonna come back. Everything is better than it. And then slowly over the last 2 weeks, people are just like, wait, actually it's still good. I mean, like, it just does everything quite well. The fundamentals of this game is what? You want to draw cards and remove board states. And what does it better than Ruby Amethyst since day one, the birth of this game? It does everything well, and it's still seeing a lot of play. And the new edition of the Queen of Hearts, I'm really excited to see that. I haven't seen it personally, so I'm really looking forward to see how it plays out in this deck list. We're running the 4B prep because you need it. You just need it all the time. And the ladies in red are back on the menu. We're cooking with the ladies. We said we're not playing the location heavy list this time. We're gonna see what we can do in a more controlled setting. Get rid of the big threats while we're drawing a bunch of cards through Rabbit and our 1-drops that constantly draw us those cards. And obviously, Cusco on Crab is a combination that you always want to have. It's just an easy removal tool, and personally really looking to see how it plays out, because this deck, we thought it was gone and now it's back. I'm really intrigued to see how the Sisu plays out as well compared to the running of the White Rose and stuff. But I will say there's a big question mark in my head. How is this deck going to perform without our best potentially removal target in the Fox?
Yeah, the absence of Fox is interesting. This list that's on the left-hand side is Domingo's Week 2 list. Week 1, Domingo brought Mill, which I've not bothered to put up here because we're making comparisons, right? And Mill is just a completely different archetype. Whereas the list that Domingo ran Week 2 is at least closer to stock RP. But very much inspired by the location-heavy list that has been kind of popularized at the moment as of late among RP enthusiasts by Taris Black, who sort of like gave the original concept for this heavy location package. And you can see why, right? If everyone wants to play Bell on turn 1 and get their Storm online, then putting this down like a fairy ship on turn 1, for a start, you deny a Storm target, which they may have really wanted to play, not just a remove a thing, but just to draw a card. So that's a factor. The Bell obviously has 3 strength, but they'll need to put something else down, and then like they need to do 4 damage into the fairy ship. So at least this fairy ship is probably getting 1 to 2 lore and 1 or 2 turn and denying 1 or 2 lore on the opposite side if they're turning sideways to challenge you as opposed to questing. So that can be valuable in and of itself. And then obviously we've known for a while, like since the inception of Queen's Castle, we saw many big high-end events where such a common play was B-prep, double Queen's Castle, whether or your opponent B-preps and then you double castle or whatever. So that's been a big play for a while, and it's still super good to do if your opponent does do some sort of board clear and you're able to just put down a couple of these locations when they have nothing on board. Then they're going to tick away at lore, and you may be able to just, as your opponent starts putting down characters to deal with them, but they don't have any rush characters, so they've got to wait, you can be picking them off with your Medusas, your Tremaines, more pre-preps. So, like, in that sort of matchup, you can see where the locations have done super well. But for Week 3, Domingo going a different way. This list, I believe, card for card, is the list that Ed, the North American DLC champion and North American champion, was recently revealed for free on his Metafy. I think it's card for card, the exact same list, and I like an awful lot about it. I've talked about RP a lot recently. I had the pleasure of being a guest on Podcana, and then I was a guest on Garrick's Lorcana Lair, which was a pleasure, and please go check out those pieces of content. But yeah, I've got to talk about RP a lot lately, and the Queen is one that keeps coming up. I really like this 2-cost Queen. She's 2-cost Ingable 1/4 quest for 1, and if she has any damage, then she gets +3 strength. So she becomes a 4/4 beat stick. I say 4/4, she needs to take the damage to become 4 strength, so it's technically a 4/3 or below, but for all intents and purposes, a 4/4. So the high roll here, obviously, is you get a 2-for-1 out of her. You put the Queen down on 2, and then your opponent turns something sideways where you can play Crab, boost the Queen up to a 4/4 even before she's taken damage, just from the challenger, take something out, survive, and then like I said, you're a beat stick on the board that hits for 4 that hopefully is going to take out something else. And that's going to be really good into things like Steel Song, anything that wants to put down a Piglet and a Smee and a Lawrence. Good odds that you can like get a 2-for-1 from this Queen of Hearts. And it could be super valuable in this matchup as well, in particular, if I go back to this screen. So this Kiwi Bird list, it just wants to be fast, right? So the alternative to putting down a Queen is putting down a Cusco, because that draws you a card when he's banished, and will still hit for 4 when combined with the Crab. So the choice you're making when you decide if you want to put down Cusco or Queen, right, is, do I want this Cusco to trade with something, like trade up and then draw me a card? or do I want this queen to take something out but then survive to have some more board presence? In this matchup, it might be more important for Domingo to prioritize having board presence. There's a lot of situations where you're just happy to play the Kuzco and draw more cards, but I think in this matchup particular, if you can put down this crab and put down the queen and then play crab and challenge her into like a sticky Mickey, for an example, take that out and then you hit for 4. You are now then able to take out an Anna, a Mr. Smee, an Alice that's turned sideways, a Belle. And again, this Kiwi deck wants to just play its curve out every turn and just put down these aggro characters. So I think a turn 2 queen could be really impactful in this matchup for Domingo. I do think that 4 is a high count, right? In this matchup in particular, he might be grateful for it just to increase the odds that he's going to see it on 2. In general, I don't like 4 because it's a bad top deck, right? Like, later on in the game, if you don't have a board state and you're looking for draw or you're looking for removal or whatever, you never want to see this Queen of Hearts off the top of the deck. It's fine if you just want ink, but it's a bad top deck. It needs a bit of a board state. I think majority of the time, it's only good on turn 2. There will be some niche situations where Domingo could put this down on turn 4 or 5 and then still get some value by 2-for-1ing into this aggressive board. But it'll be interesting to see if the high counter Queen of Hearts ends up being something that bites Domingo, so I want to keep an eye on that. Domingo, thoughts on Ybreezy, thoughts on the Queen? Have you played much with her, played against her much?
No, that's why I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Like my initial thoughts seeing the list was like, okay, this is like like you said, the perfect turn two drop to make sure we are playing more the control side to slow down the pace, because now this 1/4 is hard to remove, and if it does get damaged, it's gonna get 2-for-1s, and that's exactly what we're gonna do
hope, right?
in a situation where we're. That's exactly what I want to do in a situation where it's a control-heavy mindset going into the Ruby Amethyst, because the deck can kind of do both. They can try to outpace or try to control the board with the early on, and now this tool is quite well with the farewell to our beloved Thief and Flynn. So it's going to be very, very nice to see how this performs. I'm really looking forward to that combo with the crab, because I think it's just going to be a recipe for absolute perfection, especially if LD's trying to get into it fast and early.
Which you got to think he's going to be, right? And yeah, we come back to the absence of Fox, which I don't like. Like even if no bouncer at all is certainly a decision. Not going to be able to take advantage of bouncing back these rabbits and these goats. That being said, I do think the crab is the preferred turn 3 play most of the time. Anyway, don't get me wrong. He may regret not having it if there's a sideways Anna or a Mickey where you could get a 2-from-1 out of the Fox. But I still prefer the crab, right? Because like then whatever you boost with the crab, whether it's the Queen or the Kuzco or even just the Diablo, that trades if the Queen, maybe you survive, but then you want something still on the board, right? So I do think the crab is the preference, but yeah, the lack of Snake and Fox are interesting. And of course, the other big elephant in the big bell in the room is the bell. That's going to be really important in this game, right? Because that's LD's turn 1 beat stick to like keep at bay Domingo's characters that want to contest the board. If LD misses the turn 1 bell, then you're relying on the Smee really for being the first character that's realistically going to actually make a trade when it's challenged. And you don't want to challenge yourself with the Smee. You want that to be questing, right? So LD, I think, really wants to see this bell on turn 1. It's also interesting, right? Because Domingo's got the Chernobog's followers. If he goes first, it's fine to have this Chernobog's followers, even if your opponent does start with Bell, because you just pop it right before they get the chance to storm. But even if that is the case, you may not play the Bog and just it because you want to play 2 characters on turn 2, right? That's the if there's a Bell, you want 2 1-drops on 2, so that if the Bell storms 1, you've still got the other one to be able to crab boost into the opponent. Or you could go Diablo on 1, Kuzco on 2, or Queen on 2. That's also fine. You just need something to survive long enough to crab. So this Chernobog, like even if it is their turn 1, if Domingo has 2 if say he opens with 3 1-drops, right? Like 2 Diablos and a Bog, and I'm going first, I might just ink the Bog, just so that turn 2 I'm just going double bird. Because you could play the Diablo, you could play the Bog and then quest it and draw a card, but then you might not want to ink anything else in your hand. So that'd be interesting. Your thoughts?
I like the guaranteed draw in that scenario, because like there's so many times where you get a Chernobog on the board, and then you just end up not getting that benefit because it got removed. So if you do go first, it's definitely not a bad option because then you just quest, draw the card regardless. But if not, Bella's gonna sing so many beautiful tunes to get rid of it, and it's gonna feel miserable because now you wasted your turn, which is while your opponent has a 3/3, gain the draw and the draw from the popsicle. So now they drew 2 cards and got rid of your tool and still have a 3/3 on board, and you're just looking out here with a potentially a llama, which is fantastic, but it just won't be able to compete. And now your opponent played a Smee. Now they're about 5 lore in while you're just trying to catch up on the board state establishment, and you might not be able to get to the B prep and hope to get the W on the later turn. So it's very crucial making those decisions, and this and there's a reason why he's a European champion, and he will find a way to get through it and swim through the pressure that LD is going to put on this matchup.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And the Bog and the Broom, like you say, they can just be stormed so easily. So they're probably going to be inked the majority of the time. The only exception might be if there's a library on board and you can go Broom, move to library. Right. So pay 1 for Broom, pay 1 to move to library, play another character, and then banish draw 2. Like, if you can do it preemptively, then that's fine. But other than that, they're probably for the Inkwell. Also worth noting, though, in LD's favour, like, we've got the Scrooge and we've got the Pluto. This 5 willpower is a little bit annoying because none of our 1 or 2 drops, even boosted by Crab, are taking it out, unless it's the Queen of Hearts. Unless you've already managed to put damage on the Queen and she's hitting for 4, then another Crab can then, in conjunction, take out this Pluto or this Scrooge. But it is a bit of an annoying number to hit. Thankfully, we are running 4 copies of Maui Hero to All. That's going to be super play draw dependent, right? Because on the draw, turn 5 Maui, it might still be necessary, but it might just be too late. Whereas if you're on the play and you play it on turn 5 to answer an opponent's character that they played on turn 1, 2, or 3, because the turn 4 wouldn't have had a chance to turn sideways yet. The Maui's going to be important regardless, right? But again, I think it's important to highlight the play draw disparity and how it can kind of make it just 1 turn too late. So I think Domingo really needs to prioritize the early game, setting up a board, maybe not even turning anything sideways unless it is setting up a traps. Like, you could quest with a Diablo if you have another character which can then be Crab boosted and take out whatever takes out Diablo. So Domingo needs to prioritize keeping a strong presence on board and kind of stalling the game until you get to like the be prepared turn if you've been able to draw a bunch of cards. But LD is no slouch at all. He knows this matchup really, really well. He's not going to be stupid with his cards. He's got Flaversham here as well for card draw. So those brawls are going to be important as well. I think Flaversham is as must answer as it ever was. So if Domingo has a brawl in his opening hand, it would be like on the play, it would probably be quite tempting to keep. But it depends what else you've got, right? Because I think it's more important to go, okay, I have multiple characters to play between turns 1 and 3, and I have crabs and things like that. And these manners could put in some work if Domingo goes B prep and then LD can go like mana, that's going to be annoying. But Domingo with Maui and Crab, if he's got at least 8 ink, can immediately deal with 1 mana if that does happen. So I'm super excited for this matchup, Breezy. It's a lot of it's come.
I'm very excited to see it. I'm really curious how the manners come out. Like, because usually, like you said, you B prep and then you play your locations. But in this scenario, our opponent can play the location to just stare at you and play a little bit of a tower defense. So it's going to be very fascinating to see how that turns out. The usage of the manner is going to be very, very fascinating to see in this matchup because that 9 is heavy. You said, yeah, you're right, but you can get rid of with Maui Crab, but that's 2 pieces of the puzzle that you need to find at the same time. And I've seen so many times you only find 1, and it's going to get really, really tricky to deal with 18 willpower at the same time if they do manner. So we'll see. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see
You should be. I was going to say, especially since we don't have foxes and snakes to bounce these rabbits and keep accumulating us cards, right? Like, my Ruby Amethyst, I have traditional bounce engine, so by turn 8 or 9, I realistically, I have the Maui Crab in hand a lot more, but without the ability to bounce and do this a lot, maybe Domingo won't. So we shall see, not to mention the 4 libraries in Domingo's list, which, again, if he can get a board clear and then play down a couple of these libraries, that's going to be hard for LD to answer. Doesn't have any form of rush, not running a Long Came Zeus, which can also hit locations on top of characters. I think Domingo's hope is that he sees from LD turn 1 Purple Fortisphere, no Bell. That's a
No
Ruby
Bell.
Amethyst player, or just play nothing on one if I'm really lucky. Just with. But like if you're gonna play something, then we would rather it be Porpsicle Pass. I think second we would rather it be Mickey Pass. The last thing we want is Porpsicle Bell. I would say. I think that's probably the worst thing to see. The Sticky Mickey can be annoying, don't get me wrong, but with the crab, it's like if LD's on the play, he can get 2 lore out of it. But the same is true for the Bell, right? And then we'll make a trade. But not with the Queen. So again, Queen I think could be really, really important in this matchup. I am buzzing Breedy. Breezy!
Whoa,
sorry,
man.
My bad, man.
I'm excited.
My
You're
apologies.
too excited. I get it.
I am.
The head of the table is too excited to see what the matchup's going to look like because, you know, it's your baby. Ruby Amethyst, it's your all reliable. If you ever get off Ruby Amethyst, I'm going to have questions. I'm going to hit your DMs like, what's going on? Are you okay? How are you doing?
Yeah,
so,
reasonable.
you know, it's going to be one of those days. But I'm really excited to see it without the fox and the snake, though. I'm still not, like, seeing a rabbit without its partner, it's just, it doesn't feel right because you're so used to seeing bounce the rabbit, draw 2 cards. Now, rabbit just draws you 1 card and hoping it gets removed. But if it doesn't, then you just drew a card and now you have just a 2/3 that lures for 1. So it's just a little bit of an awkward situation there. But ladies in red are back. I'm really excited to see how it evolves because the deck, we threw it away in the tier, you know, bottom tiers. Now, if this deck performs well against potentially one of the best decks in the format with a little bit additions of extra spice with the Scrooge and stuff, it should be quite interesting to see how the community reacts to this matchup, just purely because Sapphire Steel is the big bad and Ruby Amethyst is kind of the hero that was the villain in the first place.
Right, we've reached that point, Breezy, where I can see the players are setting up. So I'm just cutting my boxes. So I'm going to need you to continue cooking. Maybe talk about the match that's happening later over on Wizards channel.
Oh, I'm really excited to see the Wonderland and Katie absolutely cook up the second match going forward. After this ends, we do our interviews. It's going to be potentially a little bit later. And then they're going to go live. Artabax is going to cook. I'm a little biased. Artabax is just one of the best players in the game. So I'm going to have hard to not root. And as he goes through it, this villain is just so handsome. I'm
First
so sorry.
time, mate. First time. It was already.
He locked in. He did it all, and he has the belt on his shoulder. And he looks absolutely better than.
Oh, Breezy, you handsome devil. Love it. And look at this man all suited up as well. Absolutely incredible. Right.
Only the best for the best channel on YouTube. Okay?
Oh, what a sweetheart. What a sweetheart.
Listen, there's a reason I followed since day one. This man was making these deck lists. This man was talking about Hans into Cusco's before it was cool, man. Okay? We've been there. Day one. Head of the table now.
Day one.
Your Lorcana Villain. Come on.
My man. All right, the players seem to be just about ready. I'm going to give them all clear in just a moment. I just want to make sure that their lore and ink totals are the right way round because I got them wrong last time.
Great. I do have a little question as you go through this. When you play webcam games, are you a half-cut okay type of person, or are we doing the dice method?
Oh, half-cut.
Absolutely.
Right, I think they are round the wrong way, so I'm glad to double check that. I think Lorcana Decklists should be the red
over
one.
There. We're just gonna go through it. But I'm really excited to see the Cusco Crab combo. I think it's one of my favorite personal combos, obviously for reasons. But being able to just deal 4 damage and draw a card is just so powerful. Like it's just another translated version of the rabbit bounce fox gets deal damage, you draw a card. It's the same thing but just more flavor essentially. You guarantee the draw, you get rid of a tool, and now you have a 3/3 on board as well. So I'm not still too like okay with seeing this big change in the no Madam Mims, but if it works, it's gonna work. And Queen of Hearts is gonna put on the show.
All right, Breezy, the time has come. The time is now. Round 3 of the Lorcana Cross Continental Clash. Lorcana Decklists versus the European champion, Domingo.
Let's do this. Let's do this. It's a big game. It's do or say goodbye. It doesn't get any more clutch than that as we start our
Ooh.
opening hands. The fourlings are blowing
Oh.
on Domingo's hand there. It's hard to even see. We got 2 Diablos. That's exactly the one drop we're looking for out of the 3 options we have. There's on LD side, we got 2 Pete's, an Atlas, a Popsicle. We do have the unfortunate combo, unfortunately, with the Popsicle and Bell. Bell is here, Smeezy here. The curve on LD side is looking mighty scary.
Oh, we find the Flavisham. Double Flavisham.
Oh, double Flavisham.
We can ink one.
We gotta...
to be prepared is not what we want in the opening hand. But the rest of Domingo's hand is pretty good. We've got the double Diablo. We talked about that potentially being super relevant. We have the Crab. We have the Kuzco. So we can just go turn 1 Diablo, turn 2 Kuzco. Because I think Domingo's on the play because he mulliganed first. So I think that's good. So pretty good hand from Domingo other than those 2 B preps. But LD here, you were just saying this curve is beautiful. We've got Porp. We can pop it to play the Bell. We've got Smee. We've got Pete or Alice here. If we draw another item, Flavisham's online. Or maybe he doesn't pop the Porpsicle because he wants the Flavisham online. What do you think?
I mean, not having the song gives you that option, right? Because, like, with the Bell, turn 1, you usually want to just threaten the song because it's a free draw and
I was wrong.
body.
LD is on the play.
LD's on the play. We're drawing, and are we gonna pop here? I think. I mean, I would say just do it just to have a board presence.
I think it's fine. I think it's
like
fine.
you said, we're gonna go fast. We're gonna put pressure.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, this is great to just put out turn 1. So now whatever Domingo starts to put on the board to pressure the more aggressive blue steel cards, this Bell is hopefully going to be able to check them and remove them. We find a goat off the top for Domingo. Is going to wink that Kuzco. So that leads me to believe that... And we're just going to pass. Yeah, so he wants the double Diablo on turn 2, which seems like a good play.
Yeah, just say you if you deal with it, I still have another one. Even though he doesn't have the song, but we don't have that. He doesn't have that information. But having the 2 crows and then guaranteed crab into getting rid of the Bell or the potentially the Smee is going to be very crucial here. Being able to kind of stabilize early and not get a little too behind.
Yeah, another option would have been we could have inked one of the Diablos to play the Diablo, and then next turn ink the goat or the Brawl to then have Kuzco on the board. So then you still have your 2 characters, right? But the Kuzco does have that 1/2 stat line, which, you know, may be relevant.
Sometimes helps.
Not with this board state, maybe not, but you never know, right? And at least even with Crab, then you're hitting 4. If the Arna was to come down, so that's a way of hitting that. We are going to go for Ink Goat. We drew a rabbit off the top, which is really good. Ruby Amethyst can kind of live or die just by whether or not they hit their rabbit, so it's good to see that. And of course, Goat also being a 4-drop is the natural thing to ink. This Crab and Brawl are super precious.
The one big kind of a issue here, if we don't draw an inkable next turn, we're kind of in a weird sticky situation of getting stuck with B prep rabbit in our hands, and that might be a little unfortunate if let's say we top deck a Madam Medusa or Lady Tremaine as well. So there's a little bit of that concern coming up with the unfortunate altering of the
I bet LD just sticks here. Oh, he is going to quest. Okay, interesting. So I wondered if LD would just stick there just to deny this turn 3 Crab coming down and immediately getting value. But LD putting on the gas, like maybe like taking 1 turn off against Ruby Amethyst is like 1 turn too late when you know the B prep's going to be inevitable at some point in time. We can see an Ink of Bog.
In the Bog.
Yeah, perfect ink. Like we mentioned earlier, these aren't great in this matchup.
Gonna crab it away. We're getting rid of one of them. But Golden Questing is saying is essentially you only can get rid of 1. The other one is gonna give you another lore with the Alice questing. So now you have 5 lore on board and you're at 9 in turn 4, which is quite fast, quite early.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see her taking out the cannon being fired off, this 3-strength draw a card cannon, which is essentially what Diablo with Crab is. Going into the Bell, which quests for 1 less than the Smee, but the most relevant thing really is that Bell is a 3-cost character, meaning she can sing Storm and Strength for a Raging Fire, which, you know, LD could play a character here and then could have had Bell sing Strength and take out the Crab, which would have been pretty bad. Can still do that, but at least then you're turning your Alice sideways. but not to quest and give the ability that Alice gives. So I understand wanting to take out the Bell, and this Smee is going to tick itself away anyway. LD seemingly wanting to put a Bumbling Mate in the Inkwell.
That's the play here. Get that Pete just in our hand, just in case, or just that turn 6 area. And just make our opponent stop, and then we play the Scrooge here. Quest away, get to 9, which is very, very fast. And the cool thing, well, the not cool thing if you're a Ruby Amethyst fan here, is that Mr. Smee is going to have 2 damage counters on it, and nothing else. And that's unfortunately a crab trade, which then takes out the Alice. So we kind of clear out the board, but 9 is a lot. 9 is fast.
Yeah, it is. At least we can deal with some of this, right? So the crab, which, oh no, we can't, because the crab could trade into the Smee, gives Challenger, but that Alice has 4 willpower, so this Diablo will take it out. So that is a real shame. This is a situation where you would really love the Fox. We have Brawl, which is doing nothing. There's no valid targets. Alice would be if it wasn't for that pesky ward. It is our turn 4. We would love to be playing a Rabbit. There is an argument as well to... I think we need to play Rabbit, because like sometimes you can just play Library, move something to Library, and then trade and draw a card. But this Scrooge McDuck is just sitting there, right? If we had Maui in hand, I would feel better.
That would have been different. That would have been so different, because now we just get rid of that Scrooge, have no problems, move on with their lives. But we don't, so we have to dig a little bit deeper. Are we going to do through the power of the Rabbit or the Library? Yeah. I think we're going to just go ahead and
this is fair.
Away.
I think that's fair. You're still drawing the 1 card you would have drawn if you'd have gone Library, move to Library, challenge, but you're sticking a body on board as well. Goat's nice. We need this, like, Maui is so important now. Or more crabs. Or, again, if we were running foxes or snakes, we could bounce the crab to get the, like, because it gives Challenger when it leaves play as well.
It's just the lack of the bounce package is going to be a little problematic, because I think we're going to have this conversation quite often in this matchup specifically. That we're going to wish we had foxes, but we're just going to deal 2-3 damage here. It's like, okay, well, next turn I'm dealing with everything else.
Yeah, that's definitely the better play rather than going for the Smee. You'd rather put some damage here, but still, this is... LD is going to be questing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 this turn, if you account for Alice's ability. So going up to 16 without a Maui in hand. That being said, I don't know what else Domingo could have done. Like, if he already had the goat, he would have probably played the goat just to have the stats on the board, right? Yeah, this is not a good situation.
He kind of just unfortunately got stuck with 2 B preps in the hand early, and just you can't get rid of them. They're stuck with you, and it might be too late by the time you get to play it, because there are threats like Pete. It's just like,
exactly, man.
Yeah, you got the 6 ink. It's Pete time. It's over. You're not gonna get to remove me, and I'm just gonna get ahead. Now getting to 16 is gonna be super scary, because we're kind of 1 item away from essentially just replenishing our hand and just putting more pressure onto the board and continuing to take this victory. It's not looking too good for your Ruby Amethyst babies.
No, it's not. Like you said, this Pete is definitely going to come down at a point where LD is fearing the B prep, or to be honest, maybe we might not even get that. Like, LD may just win before we even get to that point in the game. But this is definitely a super significant turn. I imagine everything just turns sideways here. I can't imagine a world where we are incentivized to go into this crab. Like, maybe just so that you, like, because then they get Challenger. They'd lose the Challenger, right, from when this crab leaves the board. But we are just going to turn everything sideways. Going to go up to 16. And just down comes the Pete now. Just going to deny anything that Domingo could play. And the Mickey Fast Food Fighter. Representing another 2 lore, even if Domingo can answer the 3 exerted characters. Which, without Maui, I'm not sure if we can. Smee...
going to top deck him out.
Smee obviously goes...
DJ.
Smee being banished, obviously that last damage. We find a crab, it's not bad.
Ooh.
That's not bad.
That will do stuff. That is nice, because we can double up that...
That will do stuff and things.
That will do stuff and things, like remove potentially the Scrooge here.
So I think what you have to do is you play this crab, you boost your crab that's already on board with a damage. So it's hitting 6.
Smack.
You smack into the Scrooge, and then that crab you trade, and then that crab gives challenger to the Diablo, and he can trade with the Alice, draw a card, and then you are left with just the Pete and the Mickey. We can't do anything about that. We're definitely going to 18 next turn, but we would still have a crab on board. We'd have a rabbit on board. We are going to play crab. We're going to go into boost rabbit instead.
Rabbit.
I don't like just to draw more cards, I guess. So
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
You remove a bigger stat line. We did see the Maui, which is nice going to the next turn.
That's super good. This crab's going to have to go into the Alice. Only takes 1 damage. So yeah, this seems fine as well.
And then that way we kind of have another crab for next turn, because LD is just going to go ahead and quest away. His hand is getting a little limited unless he top decks a item. He is in a little trouble with continuing the pressure, because now the wheels are going to start falling off because his hand is empty unless he just top decks a...
But there is the Tremaine. There is the Tremaine in hand, right?
There is the Tremaine.
We can only play one or the other. We can only play one or the other. Like if we turn both these characters sideways, yeah, Domingo's going to be able to take out both of these and then put down this.
Super good.
He's on he's going into 6 turns, so he can go into a Tremaine turn. Domingo could start to claw his way back. Like there was only 2 Tremaines in the deck. There's 2 Doom Medusas.
2 Medusas, because right now the big question is should we quest both, because if we do, then Lady Tremaine eats, but now he has to consider not doing that, making so he has to deal with a character that's just standing up. And if you do Lady Tremaine, then you send the Sticky Mickey and just quest for 2 the next turn and get to 19, and just put a board state where we can give Ward into something and move on. Like it's just now we put a pressure. We're like, yeah, you can deal with one readied up character, but it's not 2.
Yeah, super heads up play from LD there, keeping this Mickey sideways. We do find another Tremaine though. So that's not bad, and then we can play B prep next turn if we really need to. These, like, Domingo's got a lot of catching up to do, and LD could just jump over this finish line, but Domingo has some of the right cards to get himself out of this position. We're going to trade the crab into the Pete, gives challenger to something. It's not going to be relevant, but it has to happen. It has to happen. It's worth bearing in mind. We're going to turn both these guys sideways. Yeah, I've got to think you have to play Tremaine here, otherwise you just lose next turn. You're only going to...
I think we inked the library here.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, I think so. Thing is, like, it might not matter, right? Because no, I actually quite like inking the Maui. No, you need it for the location. Just because LD's definitely going to 19 this next turn, right? So Maui becomes kind of less relevant because, okay, well, the next turn you sign something sideways, you win anyway. But it is relevant for the McDuck mana. So yeah, I do think it's better to keep it. We do see the Tremaine comes down, got rid of that Mickey, passing over. LD, I think, going to throw down a Scrooge here. Or is it going to be the Flabbersham?
Flabbersham, I think the question is, do we want to... Regardless, it's going to go banished right away, so...
This is pretty good.
Won't really...
This is pretty good, like... This isn't bad. This isn't bad. We can get rid of this Alice, and then we can Tremaine the Scrooge. The only problem is we don't have any more... We have the B-Preps. That's our only other removal. So just this Flaversham coming down would represent still game. Like, Domingo's got to find one of the 2 ladies. He's inked 1 Brawl, so there's 3 more in the deck. But we also don't know what LD's going to top, right? He could find... If he finds another warded character. Because otherwise Domingo's got to B-Prep his own board, right? And that's not good. We do see that play.
And then we're just going to Lady Tremaine here. Quest get into claw our way back to 20, hopefully. But we are running out of threats. You're right. Like now we get rid of the Scrooge, and we have no other answers to anything next turn unless we top deck a
What
Brawl.
Is it? A Storm. That's not what LD wanted. But unless Domingo finds a Medusa or a Brawl, then he is going to be forced to B-prep his own board. And I will sing it. The chat has been saying, will today be the day? We find a Bell. It's not bad. It's not great, but... we just need 1 law, right? So it's not... As soon as something... At least Bell can't be brawled. So like that requires Medusa, but we can't play a character this turn.
Right.
I wonder if like
we might want to ink.
We might want to ink. Definitely a decision. Because we can't really have
then we get
four
to
ink.
hire and pop.
Yeah, like, because then next turn we could play Porp and Flavisham. You're absolutely right, Breezy. So that would leave it on the table. But again, but like, just having characters feels good. Domingo gets a turn off here. It would have been super nice to put down the library this turn and move everything there. Because then even if you do end up being forced to prep your own board, you're drawing 4 cards. We're going to extend. Okay, this is what Ruby Amethyst can do. It can keep you off of it and catch up. But we didn't find a Brawl. We didn't find a Medusa. We're going to quest up for 4-5, going up to 9. Passing over. What do we find? We find another Bell. It's not what LD wants. He wants
too many bells.
He wants an Alice, or he wants a well, he only needs one Law, but or a Cogsworth, because both the Tremaines are gone now, right? And there's no bounce to return them back to hand and reuse these abilities. So it would demand the B prep. We find a Rabbit. But we need to remove this bell. We need to remove this bell. We've got to... This is why it might not have been good to play the Sisu last turn. I get playing the Diablo because you're drawing anyway. But we are now in a situation where we have to be prep. We're going to quest up for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go to 17, Breezy.
Oh my god. Now you're in GOAT territory too. You're getting there. Now things are getting a little spicy. I mean, the reach is there for everybody now. Oh my goodness. But we're going to go... B prep back to back,
We've inked 2 goats, worth bearing in mind. Are we going to see it? We ink the Maui, we go up to 7 ink Breezy, and here it comes. Be prepared.
It cut off. Your audio cut off. Oh no. You were too loud. I think your own mic cut it.
Oh no. Hopefully it was just for you. I think the stream will have heard it. It might just be just for you. They'll let me know. If they missed it, I'll do it again later. We find a couple of draws off of that. We found a Queen and a Brawl. Again, Queen not what you want right now, but that Brawl is really good. LD finds a Fortisphere, plays and finds a Porpsicle. The problem is if we play this Porpsicle and find an uninkable, then we're not playing anything this turn again. And one more turn off may be enough for Domingo. Like, that catch-up was pretty monumental.
That was insane. But now, any characters, you just B prep it, unless it's the Flavisham, which then means that we can brawl it and then play our own characters. So now this is the difficult question: is do we want to have a character that can get brawled and draw more cards, or do we want to play the Bell and just be like, if you don't have B prep, or you lose?
I like just inking Bell and playing Flavisham here, to be honest. I think. Like, it's drawing you more cards as well then, right? And again, you know the Tremaines are gone. It's all about that B prep. I'm all about that B prep. We do play the Portugal. We find a Mickey, so we can play it this turn. We do have Brawl on the table. So Domingo at 7 ink, so he can... Okay, this is easy B prep then. This is easy B prep city. You have to... Yeah, like even if we drew Medusa, we don't have enough ink for Medusa plus Brawl, so we have to just immediately do it. Is it a double sing special, Breezy? Are we going back for back?
Might be.
Wise man.
It might be
Wise man.
back to back.
Tell me.
The head of the table, we're going back to back because that's what the champions do. That's what the people want.
Be prepared. Did you hear it that time, or did it cut out for you again?
Absolute cinema.
Okay, we've got the Flavisham now, though. Thank you, my guy. We've got Flavisham, so we can draw a couple of cards. We find a Mana. That's a really good card to have off the top of the deck. Can we still ink this turn, and would we even if we could? Yeah. There's an argument to inking Chempo and playing Porpsicle here, because then next turn, if the Flavisham survives, then you've already, you just quest, and you can play the Mana.
I mean, you just win the game.
You just win the game, yeah.
You just win the game. All LD needs is just...
Or the double Mana. You can only play one with the ink that he's on, but that's not bad. That's pretty good. We've got to see the Brawl.
Might be all she wrote, though.
Okay, so I actually think you play Brawl and Sisu this turn, because if you always Brawl this Flavisham, you have to. There's an argument to playing Rabbit, drawing cards, but if we play the Sisu, if it survives long enough to quest to 19, then Goat off the top is game. So there is an argument to Rabbit, but Domingo clearly agrees with me. We are going to play this Sisu, and we have an... Oh, yeah, we got enough ink to play the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, yeah, we got game.
That's going to be game.
Now.
That's going to be game.
We got...
this would have...
I think he did it.
Storm off the top, that's not enough. If this was a Kuzco, you'd be able to remove it and it wouldn't be game. But there's nothing that LD can do here.
Wow. What a turn of events.
Can Storm, of course, pay 3, put 2 damage, probably
Draw
on
a
the
card.
Sisu. But... Fine, oh, no, we can ink mana. We can ink mana and we can play the other Storm.
Wow, he found another one.
We found it.
Crazy.
We
found the answer. This is crazy. And it was just draw another one. Oh my God, let this man cook.
If only he had the ink to play a mana this turn. Or anything.
Oh my.
Back to Domingo.
Like now...
Oh, we can just play. We play Rabbit first, draw a card. Go. Find friends. Nah, just play the Kuzco. Just play the. I think you just play the Kuzco here.
Play the Kuzco. Oh, are we drawing? No. We're Kuzcoing and saying deal with it.
Yeah, there we go. Play 2 for the Kuzco. We're going to quest for 1 up to 18.
That is, I believe, game.
I think that's going to be game. Like, there's more storms and strengths are doing nothing. Yeah, there's that strength doing a whole lot of nothing, unfortunately. We can play Flavisham and draw some cards.
It won't matter.
We've got 2 ink remaining, although we could ink the strength, so we could play a 3-cost character this turn. The Alice just a bit too late. Like, some bad sequencing of draws, really, from LD. Who really wanted to see these Alice and, like, characters like this post-double Tremaine being gone.
Yeah, that's the answer there.
I feel sorry for him, really. That was like some bad draws in a row. The multiple storms, the multiple bells at the inopportune time. I think this is game 1, Domingo.
Yeah. And Domingo was on the draw.
Yes.
Well, that's even more complicated.
So I said about how this Queen of Hearts was good only on exactly turn 2, because later on in the game it doesn't really do a lot. But all it needed to do was quest twice. Which, fair enough.
All it needed to do was that. That's it.
That's it.
That's all of the questing. Yeah. Wow, what a comeback. What a comeback.
What a game. Like, just having to be prep the own board just because LD was only 1 off of it. But then just having the answers that, like, during that second Tremaine was absolutely necessary. 100%. So... Yeah, like, the double B prep right at the beginning was unfortunate, but ultimately he needed both of those cards. So, like, it can always feel bad when you've got them in your opening hand, but, like, if you're going to need them at some point anyway, then you're going to hope to draw them before that point anyway. So, seemed like a bad start, but other than that, some pretty good sequencing from Domingo in terms of cards off the top. What do you think, Breeze?
I mean, you couldn't write a better comeback story than this, honestly. Like, it just essentially, it didn't look so great until Domingo was able to essentially break it down every single turn, constantly getting rid of all this nonsense, essentially, that LD was putting in front of him. And yeah, you're right, 2B prep, it looked terrible at first, especially when LD was at, like, the 11 lore with, like, 8 on board, essentially, just threatening game, and that he was only at 5 ink. We looked at him, he's like, there's no way he gets there, but he did, because, like you said, the 2 ladies in red that there's only 2 of, found it, dealt with it, got rid of the problems, won the game. The momentum swung so well, and that back-to-back B prep couldn't have been written better. Like, even you could have made a better script than that, honestly, and we just thought it is incredible performance, and that's exactly why, you know, EU champions come. Those made decision making. Those, like, okay, we still got to be patient. There's still answers to the solutions, and that's exactly what he did today.
We go into game 2. LD, who is going to be on the play, does have the Fortisphere Bell and Let the Storm Rage on. So those are already being shuffled aside, thinking about keeping those. And then I think the rest of the cards is just a matter of whether or not LD wants to keep Guaranteed Ink. Chooses not to. Going to throw all 4 of those back, but it has the ultimate turn 1. I also did want to mention something that I saw in the chat. There was a turn during that game 1 where LD quested with 2 things and then changed his mind and kept the Mickey ready. It was that super important turn that we talked about where Tremaine, like, if that, like, Domingo probably would have had got there a little quicker potentially. But yeah. I just saw people in chat saying, oh, he changed his mind, and Judge Phil has replied saying that Domingo was more than happy for LD to take it back and do the move that he wanted to do. Judge Phil has said that if it was an official event, he would probably demand that not be the case. But both players are having fun. They were both happy with it, so we push on. And I think that's a good thing. And don't get me wrong, I do think there's a lot to be said for like standing by the moves you've made in official play, even if you immediately realise it was wrong. Like, I think there should be a certain level of commitment that you make as a player to stand by your moves. But in an event like this, where we want to see the players making the best moves they can, and we want to see this played, no regrets, no regrets whatsoever.
Yeah,
we do see that Fortress Sphere turn 1, and here comes the bell, Breezy.
It's back. This time, you do have the song, which is the bigger problem going into turn 1 here for Domingo here, and that we're gonna ink away the bogs all day, every day, not giving our opponent any draw here as well with no 1-drops. And it's you usually don't want to have a turn where you don't play your 1-drop, but for the first time in a while, ever I think in this game, it's okay to not play turn 1. It's actually be kind of better.
It's preferable, right? Especially with this quick. Like, if we only had turn 2 Kuzco, then that wouldn't be good enough, because although it draws a card, you've lost your body. But this Queen of Hearts turn 2, maybe we see a cook in this game, Breezy. Turn 2, it's gonna avoid. It's not gonna get Storm. There's no way you're putting the damage on it yourself in most situations. And then we've got the crab for turn 3. So no 1-drops always feels bad, but the rest of this curve looks super, super good. We're going to play an Ana down on LD side of the board. Quest for 1 more if there's a hero in play. And we do have that turn 3 Alice that we can play. So Ana can quest for 2 next turn. We ink a Diablo. And here she comes, Breezy. The Queen of Hearts. I want to see her do the thing. I want to see her do the thing.
We can crab, get a 4/4 on the. Oh my God! That card is a 2-for-1. It's almost like a cheaper Maui in a sense. It's just like it's gonna get a 2-for-1 guaranteed most times if you have the crab combo. So it's a little bit more layered, but it still offers that 2-for-1 Maui usually gets you in that stage. So it's very, very good, very, very pressure heavy. And we did get the Alice, so Ana is gonna get to quest that plus extra 1. Belle is gonna stare and think about the options here, because
think about her life. Think about what you've done, Belle.
Because like you quest, it gets banished with the crab. You sing, it still gets banished by the crab. So what do you want to do in this scenario? Is the big question. I think you might want to sing and deal 2 damage, because if you do play the crab, then you can only benefit once with the 4 being a 4/4. But it's tough. It's tough.
Does choose to keep everything ready, so gonna deny that crab value. We likely still play a crab this turn. We've got 2 in hand, and you still want to establish it right. And even if it then makes a trade with something, then the challenger ability will still trigger. We're gonna ink Diablo. We are just gonna play that crab, just establish it, get it on the board. But yeah, a little bit of a stalemate at the moment, and this is what Domingo wants. He doesn't want LD questing. He wants to slow him down, build to that point of the game where you've got the B prep to clear the board, and then hopefully you've got some ladies to continue to control it. Another Alice for LD off the top.
Another Alice is good. We could establish a lot of lore gain on the board very, very quickly and easily here. We're just going to go ahead and ink.
Would have loved ink. Would have loved ink, though. It's never great to ink a Porpsicle, but needs must. Yeah. We get down that Pluto, and I talked to you earlier, Breezy, about this 5 willpower is really annoying. However, there's still a pretty heads-up play that Domingo can make here. Plays the other crab in hand, boosts the crab on the board, which will then trade with the Pluto, and then that crab leaving the board can give challenger to the Queen. She can trade into the Alice, and then she is surviving, and well, not trade. She takes out the Alice and then sits there as a 4/3 beat stick. So there's a pretty nice play coming there. Like, he has the response, and then you have Maui from the turn after. I think this is looking really good for Domingo.
Yeah.
With LD only 2 cards in hand, the Storm and another Alice. Like, they're both good cards, but Domingo's cooking with this hand here. We do play the crab. You would have liked to have played the goat for the stats, but this is a heads-up play, and we are going to see it appeared into the crystal ball. Wide Breezy, my RP ball of the future.
See the future here. The crab to get banished into the crab effect is just crab effect on crab effect is so powerful.
People are ranting and raving about the drab little crab. This is the OG crab. Well, no, he's not really, because like Tamatoa 8 cost is the OG, but in my heart, this crab, Merlin crab,
listen,
is
you
the
don't
OG.
play Sapphire, so for you, this is your crab.
This is my king. This is my king.
The real crab for you is this crab, and 6-3 crab, I say that's really good.
This is not good for LD. Finds a Scrooge off the top, which we can't even play, and we have nothing to ink to put it into play. Not good at all. And the thing is that Queen of Hearts only took 1 damage from the Alice, so it's not like we can even finish it off with the Storm. This is not looking good for LD at all, especially knowing that Domingo has another crab, the Maui, a B prep if things get out of control, and I wouldn't be surprised if this library comes down next. Like, if LD doesn't turn sideways, then this library just comes down, right?
Yeah, no, it just comes down and it even puts more pressure.
Queen of Hearts takes out this. Queen of Hearts will get a 3 for 1, Breezy.
That's insane. A 2-drop that got 3 for 1?
Could be.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Looking real good.
Doesn't really get better than that.
Looking real good. I stand by what I said earlier, though. I still think 4 is wrong. But, like, again, it was, like, you see the work it's put in here just by seeing it on turn 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big fan of this. LD with the two dice on the table. Sorry, dice with the number 2, just representing the cards in hand. Just want to give a shout out to the chat as well. 230 people up in here, Ybreezy, and that's been popping up and down. A huge shout out to everyone that's come out, and again, thank you to all the players, all of the judges, to Pavel and the Pixelborn Connect team, and to everyone that's been coming out and watching all of these matches. I've been watching them all myself. And it's great to see everyone getting nice big audiences and like so many people clearly interested in seeing these games in our off-season, essentially, Ybreezy. So again, that's why things like this and the ICL, shout out to the Wizard, are so important, just to like help keep the community fire burning for competitive play.
We need it. We need to see best of the best play, and like you said, off-season is tough. This is where people start looking into the other card games. Well, we got to make sure there's things to do, things to watch, constantly get the people moving and talking about the beautiful game that is Disney Lorcana.
So, Domingo taking a while to think this over, because this, like, Broom with Library is always interesting, right? Because it can be a 2-card draw fairly easily. I don't think there's a world where you don't run the Queen of Hearts into the Ana. Like, you could play Maui, and then you can quest with the Queen if you want. We're at 4 ink. We can ink up to 5. I think I'm just inking this Broom, playing Library, and then moving both characters Library. Now, don't get me wrong, LD could take out the Library in 1 turn, but if he's doing that, then he's turning Bell and Scrooge sideways without questing. And then you just take them out yourself. But opting for the Maui play, going into the Ana instead, which I also don't hate. It like you establish the Maui on the board, right? And it's hard to remove.
Yeah, and you get rid of the Scrooge if it decides to quest. It's just like I said, it's the guaranteed 2 for 1 in this situation, and exactly what he wants to do, kind of manage the board. Last game he was at 19 in this state and kind of took over later, and now it's only 9-0, so it's even better. He's in a better of a cruise control situation rather than panic button and get rid of everything. So it's really looking nice for the Ruby Amethyst.
It really is
out there.
Yeah, that first match was looking ropey, and then like Domingo with a sequence of really nice draws to help keep LD off of it. And LD had like that perfect opener, like the turn 1 Fortress Sphere, play Bell. But Domingo not even having a 1-drop, just this crab. These crabs and Queen of Hearts is putting in the most work. But yeah, that last turn with the Maui, I definitely want to ask Domingo about that in the interview. It may have been that was the better turn, just to establish it for sure. And didn't even quest with the Queen, worth mentioning as well. Nonetheless, Maui's gonna get on the karaoke and sing a bit of Friends on the Other Side. Draw a couple of cards.
The Brawl and another Friends. Draw more.
We drawing cards, Breezy. Oh, a lot of uninkables, but you've got to work your way through them, right? And another B prep is not awful. A rabbit is not a bad thing at all.
A rabbit's about to enter the play here, or
we are going to pay 3 for the Library. Yeah, so again, this is fine. Like you can move characters into the Library, and if LD takes it out and just doubles into it with Scrooge and Bell, we are absolutely fine with that. They didn't quest, and now we can take them out. Like the Maui would probably take out the Bell to survive. maybe you'd need to take out the Scrooge because you need because the Queen's only hitting for 4. But you could also hit something with the Mouse. You could trade the Crab into the Bell and then give Challenger to the Queen, but with those characters can quest, right? So that doesn't sound great. I think just utilize our hero tool.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Do what it can. It does best, and it usually is challenged. But this time, sing a little bit of tunes. Get the vocal cords active rather than our hooks.
Again, must have shout out to our judge Phil, who's keeping an eye on us over this game. We did see those characters moved into the library, so yeah, this is not a great position from LD. He's up 9 lore to 0. But Domingo with 2 B preps, like again, LD doesn't know this, but 2 B preps and a brawl, so we got some removal. The thing is, if Domingo ends up having to B prep, he doesn't have anything in hand to combat this mana, with the Crab and the Maui both being on the board. I think Domingo inked the other Crab, but there are 4 in the deck, so we could still see more. But yeah, tough decision here. Like, if you turn sideways to quest, we could quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 15. But then our whole board is eliminated, right? Like, Maui goes into Scrooge and draws a card because it's at the library. Crab trades with Bell and draws a card because it's at the library. And Queen takes out Alice and survives. And your library's still sitting there, ticking away. Or we take out the library and at least force trades.
I don't know. I think that's what we want to do, but like, I don't know, because LD's running out of gas here. Like, we're running out of options. That's kind of the problem here. We played the manner. There's no draw here. I mean, Let the Storm Ranger is going to draw a card, but we're still super far away from where we want to be in this game state. Like, this is where Sapphire Steel aggro wants to be at least 15-ish area where it constantly starts that pressure like we saw in game 1. But in this situation, we're so far behind. We kind of have to quest to get to that point. And if we do get to that point, we do quest away. Our board is cleared without the B prep or anything else. So it's just a really difficult situation that we're stuck in as the Sapphire Steel aggro.
Yeah, it just speaks to the power of, like, Crab and originally just working with Diablos and maybe Kuzcos. But this Queen of Hearts, absolutely the MVP of this game in particular.
You were right. You saw the future.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where, like, it depended if we saw it on turn 2, right? Because I think it's very mediocre at any other point in the game. But here it has mattered. We are going to double into the library. I quite like this from LD because at least now you incentivize trades where Domingo is not drawing cards while those trades are happening because of the library. You can't just let it sit there
and just draw you a bunch of cards, right? 2 B preps, a brawl, and a rabbit, and the friends. Wow. I mean, even though library is not gonna, it's just not looking great. I feel like for Steel Sapphire, regardless. Oh, you know what I mean? It's just like, Pete's great. You can't be prep, but like, it's not. They have so many big bodies on board. Everything is gonna get removed, regardless of what you do.
You got to think LD would have loved to have seen like a Cogsworth or something there, where just to mess up the maths in the trades, or even a Chenpo, right? Who is like Maui doesn't get over it in one shot. Oh, did we try to? We did. Okay, so Pete had been played on the previous turn. Domingo just tried to sing Friends on the other side with Maui. We can see that the 2 cards drawn were Rabbit and Queen of Hearts. Players going to have a discussion here. I imagine Judge Phil is also in their ear. Well, okay, so it is going to be a shuffle of the deck. Hey, it happens, right?
It happens. I've played so many actions.
It happens.
It just happens, and
I have done it. I have seen players much more experienced than me do it. It is something that we want to keep an eye on, because like in a DLC, this would we'll have to get the actual quote from Phil, but I think like if you drew the cards, I'm not sure what the punishment is there, but like it might be a warning or something like that. But again, in the spirit of this being third party, we're doing this like we want to see the competitive play, but we want to keep good vibes. It wasn't malicious. It was an accident. It happens, and I'm sure if LD had a problem with it, he would have said. And now both players have kind of done something that they shouldn't, right? So balance.
Yeah, it's okay.
As all things should be.
It happens a lot of times. It's just these small mistakes do happen. I mean, perfect play, unfortunately, as much as we want to dream about it, it can't happen in every single event. We just can't do it. So small mistakes happen, and we got to deal with it in the best way possible. And like you said, the judge is right here. They knew what to do, and they both agreed it's okay. And if that's okay, we're cool with it regardless.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, now the balance is good. We are going to see this Pete singing this Storm Rage on. Nice to finally get the opportunity to get that out of hand, drawing up a card. We find a Flavishum, which is pretty good, but no ice cream, Breezy. No ice cream. No Fortress Spheres, no Popsicles. We're going to
find it right here. Watch.
Sing Storm again. I quite like this. Get rid of that Maui. This rabbit is not threatening any... Well, without a crab, is not threatening the Alice. And there's the mana. Okay, this could be the comeback, because I mentioned, Breezy, earlier that the crabs and the Mauis had been exhausted. That, like, there's more in the deck, but none in hand at the moment. So I said if we ended up having a board clear, this mana could come down and put in some real work. And we see no Mauis, no crabs, foxes aren't in the deck. This mana could tick LD to a game 3.
Yeah, this might push it. This might push it. Now the pressure's back on, and yeah, B prep's cool, but like.
We're gonna
ain't gonna do much, but we are drawing. Ooh.
And this is where, again, like, a Queen of Hearts on board with 4 strength is like a nice character to have against the locations, right? So it's another thing that it can do. We do find a Queen. It's going to be super slow to get damage on her, though, without a crab. But this is not what we wanted, Breeze.
This is not looking too hot. These are not what we wanted to see. We want to get rid of that mana. We're gonna put on a Tremaine.
We have to. We've got to slow LD down and apply pressure to the board, right? We do get that Queen of Hearts down as well. So we can get.
The thing about it is,
go on, finish your point, Breezy.
The good point thing is it's only 9, right? Like, yes, there's pressure. He's gonna gain get to 13 here, but like, it's not the end of the world. It's not too terrible because we are not gonna. Oh, that's actually terrible because we have found that's ice cream, but we do have a little bit more time. We do have a little bit more time before things get too grim, but we got to do it fast. We got to find answers quick, but it's not. We still have some patience left before we get panicky.
We can play Flavishum. Are we going to ink the strength? It does seem like that's what LD is thinking about doing. It's a shame because if we play Flavishum this turn, then technically next turn we could have maybe 3 characters on board and hit some.
Right.
Not really significant damage, though, with the Tremaine having 4. We are just going to play the Flavishum, that Artificer ability. Removing the Porpisicle, we find a Mickey Mouse Food Fight Defender and another copy of Flavishum. Again, not really what we wanted. We're in an okay position. We're at 11 lore. We've still got Alice on board. I doubt she turns... Well, she might turn sideways just to, like, take some of the attention away from the McDuck mana, but I think, nah, we don't choose to do that. We're going to pass over.
Yeah. All
we
right,
find a bog.
We found the bog, which isn't the greatest.
No, not exactly what we wanted at this point in the game. Thank you to everyone in chat. Lots of lovely comments. People enjoying the game, enjoying the stream, and enjoying you, Breezy. What a delight! This guy says, "Why Breezy?" Can you believe it? We are going to triple into the mana, or are we just questing? Yeah, we're tripling into the mana. I was gonna say, I don't think you win this race. Not yet.
Get to 4, 3, 6 exact. Yeah, get to establish to 13, 15, which again.
There's an argument you could have quested with Tremaine there, right? Because you could have put 3 damage on this mana, and then next damage it's another 3 from the rabbit and the queen, so that's 6. Oh no, the mana's got 9 willpower. Yeah, forget it. No, he didn't.
No, you gotta do the 6. You gotta do the 6.
Yeah. If it was 8 willpower, then we could have quested with Tremaine and then finished it next turn along with the Chernobog challenging. But 9 willpower, yeah, my mistake. So we did need to do that.
That'll be good. We can quest next turn though. That's right there. We can finally get on board. There's a lot of 1-drop Mickeys, which isn't necessarily what you want to see this late on the game. You want to see your Hogsworth, Baymaxes, even the Pluto, like anything but the 1-drops, honestly.
Do you just play everything this turn? Do you just play Smee double Mickey?
I mean, you are just saying you have to be prep or you lose, and that is something we can do. But if you do play those out, then we're just stuck with a
Flavishum, yeah.
Flavishum, and that's brawl food, and we're running 4.
Yeah. Kind of want to motivate your opponent to be the one to like clear their own board as well, though. Like again, like in game 1 where Domingo had to be prep a very respectable board just to keep LD off of it for a turn. But
Right.
the mana's too close to being gone. I think if there was a chance, if he could force the B prep and ensure the mana would stay on board, then maybe there was an argument there. But
Right.
no, we are just going to play everything out, Breezy. Are we keeping just a
Yeah.
Mickey? We are keeping a Mickey in hand, so we do have like
keeping
a
Mickey.
follow up.
Right, right. And now we're gonna quest, give board, and say you prep me or you lose. But what LD probably doesn't know is
Oh, that's not what you wanted, man.
Oh.
That is not what you want. I mean, like it's. I mean, it's not great. It's whatever. We have to finish off that. We need another 3 damage into this mana, and we need to deal with the Alice.
I mean, the thing is, we can Chernobog quest draw, and then like get rid of the mana and just be prep it away, and just gain a bunch of card draw, right? Like that's something.
Yeah, you could just you could finish off the mana with the Tremaine or Queen plus Rabbit, quest your Bog,
Yeah.
draw a card, play B prep. But if LD then plays another mana, what do you do then? I think
Then
you
you
then
cry.
I think you then just lose. If you
Yeah.
B prep this board, I don't think you can B prep this board. I think you just have to deal with both of these things. So that's likely going to be because you want the Queen to take damage, so it becomes a 4 strength character. So I think you go. Oh, it's a bit annoying. I think you have to go Queen and then Tremaine into the Alice, finish it off. And then both Bog and Rabbit have to go into the mana. You can do it a different way, but then you don't get damage on the Queen of Hearts. It's not great. We can get rid of both these cards and leave LD with just me and Mickey, right?
Right, and like, it's tough. It's a tough decision to make here. Having 3 B preps in your hand doesn't help either. It's just very, very unfortunate.
It does not.
This is where Ruby Amethyst starts becoming that extra 4D chess mindset of figuring out what needs to be done, what is the right play, and
finish off the mana with Tremaine.
Rid of that.
Chernobog is gonna draw a card. We find Medusa.
Ooh, that's not bad.
I think he's going for the B prep. I think. Yeah, we quest up to 3. And then we are going to see a 3rd copy of Be Prepared. I've sung it twice already. If you don't need any more. I mean, like, it's not a terrible move, but like, mana is so bad
Medusa.
here. Medusa's fine, but like, you know, B prep would do the same thing without establishing a bot. Like, it's the mana I'm scared of, right? I don't like that move without having Mauis and stuff in hand. I mean, LD could have gone to 18 this turn if Domingo didn't do that. So that certainly could have been a motivation. So maybe it was right. We'll find out soon, right? In hindsight, but again, I'm just highlighting the risk when your opponent has 4 McDuck manas in their deck. Well, 3 left. We are going to play Chempo and just pass. Thing is, Medusa doesn't remove this Chempo. I think you just play Sisu. I think this is just. I think it's just Sisu pass, actually. It might be just Maui. Yeah, Maui plus Sisu altogether, probably.
Yeah.
No, you want to hold the Maui in case you have to be prep. No, I think you just Sisu here. Like, it's an argument to go Maui Sisu because you're going to need the Maui eventually anyway, but if your opponent...
It depends on what the result is, right? If there's a manner, then yes. If not, it just depends.
Exactly.
You don't want to be prep your Maui. It just depends on what your opponent has, and we don't know. So it's all percentages of what you want us to do, essentially. I like it. In my head, they always have it, right? I'm one of those players that looks at their opponent. If they have it, they will always have it. So for me, they have the manner in the hand, just waiting for you to be prep again. So
does make that choice, as I said, might be the case. Again, shout out to anyone just jumping in. It's currently 1-0 to Domingo, who was on the draw in Game 1. Managed to take the victory. So we're currently in Game 2. LD on the play. Chempo just going to quest here. Go up to 16.
16.
And we're just going to play 2 Mickeys. Yep.
To Mickey.
Seems reasonable.
And they pass. And now
so
Sisu's extra weak.
This may prompt just playing another B prep here. Again, we still have that same issue we had earlier, but if, like, mana's going to be hard to deal with. We have 1 Maui, but like without the crab in addition, that's not enough.
Right.
We find a library, but we can't play library, move to library, and then play B prep. Might not even want to B prep. Might be happy to let LD go to 18 lore.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I think we're doing it.
I think B Prep 4 is coming.
If we see if we see another one, I'll sing it. Right, Breezy, you're gonna have to cover for me for 30 seconds.
All right, no worries. Right now, it's a tough situation because we need to find some answers here. Hiram by itself is not great. We do find an Alice, which is really gnarly here. Now we can say, okay, you can't deal with it. It has ward, and having the Hiram next turn is really, really strong as well. Wow. Alice on board. Now the only way to get rid of it, if it quests as your Maui or your B Prep, things are going to get real difficult. We did draw a Diablo as well here. We're going to go ahead and play our library, sending some cards there. I'm assuming the bird lands on the library to eat some books, eat some pages away from the knowledge that it gains from it, and then we're just passing it right away. So, oh, the Manor. Okay, I think we might be seeing game 3 here. The Manor might do it all. He's going to quest and then just go ahead and, I believe, play the Manor, and we top deck the Manor, and that might be all she wrote, because Manor is tough to deal with.
Oh, the Alice draw was pretty good for LD. I could hear you from my headphones while I stepped away for a moment.
Drew an Alice and a Manor.
This Manor's pretty good in this situation. We have one Maui.
With the 9.
We're gonna take ourselves out by challenging into the Alice. We draw 2 cards because we're at the library. Find a goat and a Chernabog. Have we used any ink this turn? Nope, that's gonna be it. And LD takes game 2, and we are gonna see a game 3, baby!
Let's go. That's what we needed. This is perfect. But now, Domingo goes first.
Domingo on the play now for the first time in this matchup.
For the first time.
Yeah, so that's a couple of really interesting games so far, because game 1 looked like it was a really bad start for Domingo, but managed to claw his way back out, had needed both of those B preps, hit 2 Tremaines in a row, which were and just kept LD off it at 19 lore, and it was a bit of a crawlback, right? Whereas game 2, by turn 3 or 4, I felt like Domingo was so far ahead, right? LD had 3 characters on board and 2 cards in hand, but we had a Queen, a Crab, something else. We had Maui in hand. We had all the cards to answer LD's board. So it feels like the tables turned and Domingo was in the driver's seat, but LD crawling his way out. This mana putting in, 2 manas putting in an awful lot of work. So, but being on the play is big for Ruby Amethyst, right? You get to the B prep turn 1 turn sooner. You if you think about it in terms of play draw disparity, the Maui technically that turn sooner when you might need it. So these things are definitely going to matter. And LD so far has had 1-drop item Bell both games in a row. Will this be the game where he doesn't? Maybe he has no turn 1 play, or it's just the item, or it's just the Mickey. We'll see. Domingo on the play.
I'm very, this is gonna be huge. Now the Bell play doesn't feel as scary. Your 1-drop might survive to see the light of day to draw you that guaranteed card. Bog is actually an option this time, which is really, really good because everyone loves to quest and draw. It feels very, very powerful going in as well.
I like holding Sisu here. I don't know if he is, but obviously we great hand for Domingo. We've got the Crab, we've got the Diablo to work with it. We're going to hold a Brawl as well, respecting the Flavisham. But I quite like holding Sisu here, because if LD knows what this deck's all about, right? If a Queen of Hearts is on the board or a Diablo, he's hopefully not gonna just allow a fortunate Crab trade. So it may be that Domingo would prefer to play something like a turn 3 Sisu, just so that can just quest for 2. Put some more pressure on that way, but does opt to throw the Sisu away, just keeping those low cost characters. And we see for the first time, unless it's this card here, we've not seen a Bell. We see a Porpsicle in hand, and the hand in general looking pretty good. We see the Flavisham, we see a Smee. That being said, Breezy, the Bell popping the item has a couple of times stopped this Flavisham from being able to draw cards as soon as it would like. So maybe if we don't see Bell, it ends up being a blessing in disguise.
Maybe drawing that extra 2 cards could have won that game 1 earlier when we played a Bell early. No Bell.
Still not a bad hand, though. We have the one drop item.
Really good, regardless. We got a Mickey if you want to play a character. Depends on what we want to do here.
Yeah, I think the Mickey is most likely because I think Bog's going to be played here. Yeah, and we see this situation here where, like, you could just play nothing here and save the Chernobog to be Ink next turn. You are most likely playing the Queen of Hearts on turn 2. But opting to put it down and filter a bit through the deck, which is not a bad decision at all. It's just that choice of, like, do I want to draw more or do I want to ink this so I don't have to ink something that maybe I value a lot more? We do see the Porpoisicle turn 1, not the Mickey. I wondered if it might be the Mickey just to check this Chernobog's followers, but not this time.
Let's see what we do here. We're gonna go ahead and Queen of Hearts, like you said. I mean, you see the future. Wow, we shouldn't even play. You can just narrate the whole game. Well,
it doesn't even have to pop this Chernobog. No, not threatened at all.
Feels good. Get an extra quest. I mean, that feels really, really good. It's the first time he got to quest before turn 5 or 6, so it's definitely feels good moment for our Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah, this is a great start. The Smee going down is pretty good for LD, but we've got the Queen on board. She was the MVP, even though Domingo lost that game. She was still absolutely the MVP of the game, in my opinion. We are going to ink Sisu, and we're just going to play a preemptive library, and I don't hate this. Yeah. I think I probably would have preferred... No, actually, I don't mind this, because you are now next turn going to be able to move your Bog to the library, quest and draw 2, unless LD wants to spend his turn 3 just paying 3 for Storm, which I wouldn't see likely. So I quite like just throwing the library down here and starting that tick away, because it's going to sit there for a while, Breezy. Does challenge... Sorry, does quest is what I mean. To be honest, actually, that's probably good. Like, if your opponent decides that they want to,
it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. If LD decides, okay, I'll trade my Smee into your Bog, then it's fine with us, I guess. So yeah, I do like that move. Yeah, it was an interesting one because like there's something to be said for getting down the Sisu and just like because that's questing for 2 each turn. But this library is going to go uncontested and is going to start drawing us extra cards as soon as next turn. I mean, you have a choice, right? You either play Rabbit, or you pay 1 to move to library, quest, draw a card, draw 2 cards, and then you've got 3 ink. After you've inked, you've got 3 ink left to play with.
Yeah. Well, right now it's a weird stuff for LD because we don't have our usual 3 drops that we want to see. Our Alice's, it's just not here, and we find another 1-drop Mickey here. It's a weird situation because we could end up drawing a bunch of cards potentially with the other Fortisphere, or go ahead and play some Mickeys to establish board state. It just depends on what we want to do. We're gonna go ahead and challenge. This trade feels just so bad, right?
But the Porpsicle is going to heal up this Mr. Smee, and it's going to get more longevity. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's why maybe it was better to just sit there and keep the Chernobog, but still, it's alright. We throw down a couple of Mickey Mouses. Tara's saying I would have been punished for not being pre-prepared. I'm not saying I wouldn't have played it. I was just talking through the options. There's every chance I might have done it that turn, but I am always looking for those max value be prepared. But yeah, a good turn there from LD. Like I wonder if Domingo sort of saw that coming, because I missed it for a moment, to be honest, when we were talking about the Bog turning sideways, and the Smee would just challenge, take 2, and then take another ping at the end of the turn. But yeah, the Porpsicle obviously helping out a lot, but the Queen of Hearts doing the first damage of the day. MVP, we boosted her up with Crab, we take out the Smee, we now hit for 4, and we move into the library for good measure.
That feels so good. And now, even if you do get rid of it with the Mickeys, you still get a card out of it. You remove 2 characters on board. The Queen of Hearts is doing the most right now, and it's beautiful.
Doing the absolute most, and the chat talking about just our Ruby Amethyst on the play is just another beast entirely. That's why it can be so important to win game 1 just in a best of 3 format, because it really does shine.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the gameplay feels so different too, right? Like there's so many. It just feels different now. You get to kind of control the game as the lead a little bit more than try to play catch up the whole game like we saw game 1 and 2. So now you're kind of establishing your own tempo rather than kind of dealing with your opponents early on, and that's exactly what you want to do as a Ruby Amethyst player.
Yeah, 100%. Also going to be aware that LD is going to be aware that Domingo's going into his Maui turn as well, going up to 5 ink next turn. So what do you do with these Mickeys, right? We've inked Ana, and we are just going to pass. Yeah, like you could trade into the Queen of Hearts, but then Domingo draws a card, and that's not great either. And again, we want to be questing. We never really want to be turning sideways because we're challenging with this version of Kiwi. Like if you had Captain Hooks and Calhouns, sure, but this version of the deck not running them. We do opt for that rabbit, which I like. We're kind of running out of resources.
Trying to replenish our hand. Friends on the other side off the top would be absolute music to Domingo's ears.
But we just ink the Chernobog and move this rabbit into the library, and this library is still not under any threats. Even if all of LD's characters went into it, that would only be 7 damage. This gift for Bell, a big bulky 8 willpower, pretty tricky to remove. The predominant reason really why RP players playing library over the Queen's, something like a Queen's Castle, which obviously has had its time in the sun, where it was the ultimate location, but it's just so much easier to hit 7 now.
Right, it is a little bit, with the characters kind of evolving to more strength, it doesn't feel as scary, unlike the number 9 in the manner, but yeah, you're right, we're slowly being able to deal with it, but in this scenario, it kind of matters, you can't deal with it at this stage.
No. We mentioned earlier there are no. You can see the deck lists in the top left and right corners. Obviously smaller versions, but enough to see. There is no Along Came Zeus. There are no rush characters. So this library is sitting away for another couple of turns. I see Judge Phil here just asking the players to update their lore, which is a very good point. Thank you, Judge Phil. Again, we appreciate all our wonderful judges.
Got the 4. Making sure that the game is played at its best state. I know you shouted them out, but I do want to do another shout out for these amazing judges.
Do it,
everyone
mate.
Running behind the scenes.
Cool.
Like the judges don't get enough love. I know in like any sports, no one really goes in to watch the ref, right? But we got to make sure these judges are loved in the community because they are doing the most and they do it for the love of the game, truly.
100%.
And they want to make sure it's the most fair play as possible. Make sure everyone's following the rules. Everything is as communicative as possible for both players to make sure the game is as fair as possible to them. Because in this game, that like any extra knowledge or any extra thing could win you the game. So these judges are doing absolutely the best work you can imagine.
100%. Ana in the Inkwell to play this Flavisham. We get rid of the Fortisphere. Gonna get us a couple of cards, a Strength and an Alice. Pretty good cards. We do have 4 characters on the board, so this Strength is definitely usable. What are you taking though? You've got a couple of Merlins. You've got this Queen of Hearts. A shame that Strength can't do damage to locations. Maybe not a shame. That might be a bit broken.
That's not a shame. Let's stop it right there. The rage it's getting a little out of hand. I think there's not a deck that is steel that doesn't run like 4 of. So let's but
back over.
Just pass it along. Ooh.
Yeah, we're heading back over to Domingo, who just has a Brawn and Library in hand. We find Lady Tremaine. We saw how impactful these were game 1, although, of course, with LD's current wide board, not a lot of accuracy to Tremaine's Banish effect. It would just be a Mickey Mouse. We are going to Brawl the Flavisham. Absolutely rate that move. Is that Fortisphere on the board? That one underneath the Scrooge? I'm guessing so.
I believe so. The banish on the left side,
And even if it wasn't, right, there's 4 cards in LD's hand, so you got to respect the odds to have another item and just draw a bunch more cards. And we're just going to... I think everything was already in the library, I thought, but maybe not.
I think the crab is officially in. I think the crab finally landed into the library to read more books.
The crab's brushing up. He's doing his studying. He's got a midterm due, does old Merlin. But this library still not in any danger. We only have 3 characters on the board now with that Flavisham gone. Like, Flavisham could have added his strength to the rest to take out the library. Could have been a thing.
Right.
Like, it's got to go, right? Find a Pete.
Right, yeah, no, it has to. It has to. Another Pete is nice. I like the problem with Domingo's hand though. Unfortunately, it's getting a little thin. If the library gets taken care of, we're in a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, you're exactly right, which is why LD's just keeping all of his characters ready, knows that this library is the way that Domingo's going to get that card advantage back. So Domingo being super patient, we're going to put another Scrooge on the board. like good odds that this is just one more turn off, and then we double into the library with the Scrooges. Again, still never feels great to be turning sideways for anything other than questing with Scrooge. But if you got to do it, you got to, like game 2. We saw a double into the library, and LD did come out on top in that match. So yeah, another patient turn. It seems. Are we passing over? It seems that way. We draw a card. Magic Broom's pretty good with a live library on the board. Only 5 ink is the issue. If we had another character that we could play, like, because you need one to play the broom and then one to move it to the library. Unfortunately, we don't. So we just ink it, and we're just going to play Tremaine here. Yeah, again, not an accurate effect, but who cares? We're at 7 lore at this point in the game. LD doesn't want to turn sideways, and you know that if he does next turn, it's just going to be going into the library. Let's put on the pressure. Let's go for it.
Put the pressure on. Yeah, might as well be the one to put the pressure on finally. Like, it's been one of those things where we're not used to seeing the pressure come on the Ruby Amethyst side. So now things are changing. We are on the control here as Ruby Amethyst, just making sure you deal with me, not the other way around. And guess what? I have things that are going to deal with you if you try to get with me. So it's definitely the decision you have to make, and having the second library is definitely very, very strong as well.
Judge Phil, I've just seen typing. So, neat thing, until the next Pixelborn Connect update, typing Q in games resets the ink and lore, even in the chat box. So, him saying, hey, only Queen was in the library to the players, accidentally resets the chat box, the lore and ink.
You know,
fun fact.
I didn't know it worked on the chat box. That's crazy.
There you go. Not for the stream, like in Pixelborn Connect, which obviously Judge Phil is in
there.
No,
the Q is the reset button on the game. I didn't know it worked for the chat box in the game as well.
Apparently so.
Use it because usually, wow.
So they tell me. This is pretty good. Double Scrooge taking out the library. So now we've taken away the ability to draw a bunch more cards. We're going to sing Strength of a Raging Fire. Taking out another body.
All right.
Okay. We find a Maui. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good card.
Nice.
Because the problem is nothing on our board currently takes out the Scrooge McDuck, with the Queen hitting for 4 being the most. We have enough ink to pay for the library and put down Maui. Oh, we're not going to do that. We're going to move into the library with Rabbit. Rabbit is going to put 2 damage on 1 Scrooge, and we draw 2 cards. I mean, like, I respect the card draw. I sure respect the card draw.
Right. That's really, really strong. But then what do? We can't really deal with the Scrooges on the spot. But we do have a little bit more options. We're finally digging down a little bit deeper into the deck, hoping to see our B preps before our opponent finds the manners. But
now you trade. So now we're going to move into the Library of Tremaine, and that's going to trade into finish off the Scrooge. We draw 1 more card.
Sure.
I don't know. Oh, we've had a malfunction. We've had a malfunction.
It's okay. The camera is a little shaken up, but that is a-okay because the game is too exciting. I think that's what's happening. The excitement levels are so high. Oh, wow. That was wow, what a smooth transition. That is so impressive. If that happened to my camera, I am crying for about 10 minutes to fix it. So that is quite impressive. But it's just gonna be with the board a little bit tilted. Our hand is definitely Maui, Cusco, and Goat. What do we do here? Like we have to answer something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I like. I'm not sure how much I like that move. We drew 3 cards, which is pretty good, but we lost a Rabbit. Yeah. We lost a Tremaine, which quests for 2, to trade into 1 Scrooge. We do have the ink to play another Maui now, right? The Maui that's in our hand.
I don't know the exact ink count because if it's 6, I don't believe so.
Paid one to move the Rabbit into the library.
We played the library that turn.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is a new library, isn't it? Yeah, you're absolutely good. Thank goodness you're Ybreezy. See, this is why you're Ybreezy, to make me look good and remind me of when I'm a fool of a took and forget things. Yeah, you're right.
Of course. Greatness takes a lot of work.
Greatness needs friends. Okay, we seem about set back up where we were. Hey, my heart goes out to Domingo. If that was me, I'd be like, oh god, my anxiety would be kicking off. I'd be like, oh god, especially if you can't get it to then look, like fix it.
Sweating. I'd be sweating if that was me, especially
There
live
Cusco.
in front of
hundreds
and hundreds of people.
The Lorcana community at large. We play down a Cusco. But yeah, so that we can't. Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that one. I would have really liked to just see Maui come down that turn. We on LD side we see Pete off the top of the deck, which is pretty good. Again, good. We are in the be prepared danger zone. And LD with a couple of characters. We are going to double into that library now with Pete and Scrooge. Yeah, I feel like that was a really impactful turn there, where we opted to play down library and then move Rabbit and Tremaine both in there. We drew 3 cards, but we lost 2 cards that were already on board that we paid ink for.
Yeah.
And then we had no way to combat this Scrooge. And the Pete and the Scrooge were on board. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that last turn. I think maybe that's where it might have slipped away. But Domingo might have had something in mind that I'm not seeing 100%.
I think he was just digging a little bit deeper,
which I can respect.
Because the board's gonna get if he drew a B prep, we're saying that move was really good, right?
Yeah,
it's just that
we
just didn't hit it, and it's gonna feel a little awkward now. But it's not the end of the world. We have a Maui. We were gonna be able to reestablish a board state real quick with our cheaper characters with Cusco and Diablo coming in.
And LD only at 1 lore at least, so even this full board questing out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 isn't all that bad. And as you just said, we have a Maui here that can come down and contest something. We're going to ink Diablo, taking us up to 8 ink.
And then we can go ahead and
play. Oh, maybe we're not. Maybe we're not. Again, both these players definitely, while they're taking the game very seriously, they're definitely both willing to be a little lenient. As like if we can rewind something without too much issue, then we're definitely in favour of that. Yeah. So yeah, thinking not to ink the Diablo because we've got 7 ink, right? So
yeah, because we could just play both of those. We could just play Maui ink goat if you want to, and then get a little bit wider to establish a board state. But if you're looking for the B prep here, then it's not too necessary. But we'll see what decisions we.
The problem is now if LD chooses to take out the Maui, if he's got a Storm, or if he just trades with Pete, then there's nothing to contest the Alice, which is a bigger threat. Which is why I wondered why this turn you maybe just playing the Goat and a Cusco you had 7 ink, so you could have played Goat, Cusco, Diablo, and right? And then you can still play the Maui next turn. We do see a mana up top.
Tough.
Yeah, you got to think LD's maybe incentivized to just trade this Maui away now, right? And get that
mana it and just say, yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna be really.
Hades the cat has woken up. If you're hearing noises, he's in a box.
The cat's no. Oh, perfect. Yeah, the cat trap has worked.
It's his palace for the day. He's decided. We are going to see Alice going on a quest. Going up to 3. Going to give Ward and a lore pip to Mickey.
Trading the Maui. That mana is going to be so crucial here. Having
That's what I mean.
Absolutely no answers here. I think you're definitely right. I mean, the Maui play a little bit too early potentially before Alice got sideways and the manners got established here. Because you're right, because the 3/3 body, I don't know, it's too big. It's too big.
And here comes the McDuck mana. Yeah, I think that was a real 2 turns in a row there where I'll be very interested to get Domingo's thoughts for sure. Because I agree with what you were saying. Like the prior turn when moving into the library, if we found B prep, then that's okay. Obviously, you still have to worry about the opposing McDuck manners, but it was okay. But yeah, I think we played the Maui a turn too soon. I would have preferred establishing the 3 bodies, the Goat, the Kuzco, and the Diablo, and then we'd have the Maui right now to just one-shot this Alice, or the Goat already on board to one-shot it. We do get a library down. We've got nothing left in hand. We're going to pay that last ink, move the rabbit into the library. We're going to quest up for 1, and now we're just racing, I think. Both players with 2 carriages on board, Breezy, and their location of choice each. Here we go.
This is going to be a fast-paced
challenges the mana.
Turns here.
Challenges the mana as opposed to questing.
1 matters. That 1 is going to matter.
I don't hate it.
Well, no, it's because like if Kuzco does live, you can go into it for exactly.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say I don't hate it, because this damage is relevant.
It's exactly 8, so 8 is much more manageable. Or if he, that would feel really, really good. Another Maui off the top is always a welcome addition into this.
Sure.
So mana is just such a powerful location in this matchup.
The real estate of choice for Sapphire, putting in a lot of work. We are going to quest out with everything again in Alice, giving that ward and an extra lore pip. Down comes Anna, who will quest for 2. There are 2 heroes on the board, both Mickey and the Alice. They are the heroic type, and Anna does like the heroic type.
Definitely. Giving
or the villainous type. Doesn't she pick a villain in Frozen 1? Is that not the other thing?
Yeah. She thought she could find a 1, but
good taste.
Didn't end up being
good taste. You got 2 good taste.
Anna does have great. He wanted to find a man who could finish her Sen.
Oh, it's a Diablo. Okay, I wasn't sure what you drew there. We're just gonna play the Diablo. We're gonna move it into the library. Goat is going to take out the Alice. Are we also going to pay another ink to move the Goat into the library? Makes sense. There we go. Goat, Merlin, Goat, a Diablo, and a Kuzco walk into a library.
Another Alice coming is tough though, because he's gonna get to. We're gonna just, I believe, quest or
like this be a race, but this McDuck Manor is ticking away to a turn. So that's kind of scary. We put the 1 damage on the McDuck Manor, and then we quest up. We're gonna go up to 3rd. We find another manor. Real estate is expensive.
Real estate. It's like a monopoly over here, man. This is not good. And Domingo has to pay a lot of rent for this. This is not going too great. Getting to, I believe, 16 and another mana on play. I don't think that is much we can do here, man.
This second McDuck Manor is more rent than we can afford. We do find a friends on the other side. Do we sing it with Merlin, or are we just going to pay 3 ink? Because
we have to pay it.
I think we pay the ink. We've still got 5 ink left to play if we find a Maui. The bee prep is not bad, but it's not going to do anything. The landlord will not be... we find a Medusa and a Chernobog. I think... Was that just Diablo? Yeah, Diablo challenging into something and taking itself out to draw 2 more cards. Yeah, we needed Maui. We needed crabs. There are no foxes in the deck.
Yeah.
And that's going to be game. Ybreezy, take us home.
Heartbreak. I know Ruby Amethyst was clawing back, trying to get in, and both of these players won on the draw here, which is very, very interesting to see. But wow, what a amazing set of games! What a match! Incredible stuff. 2 comeback wins back to back, and then the third one was very gritty matchup, is what I like to say, because there was a lot of weird interactions. There was a lot of grindy. You had to go through a lot. There's a lot of weird interactions that had to be made to kind of to see another turn. What a set of matches here. That's fantastic play.
Absolutely incredible. A shout out to both players. And if I am correct, I believe that both Domingo and LD are in chat. LD, can you hear me, LD?
Yep, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. And Domingo, are you here just to make sure we've got both? Not yet. He might be on his way. Well, in that case, we'll start off with you, LD. So first off, a humongous congratulations. How do you feel after that match?
Yeah, it was like after last week playing Moyen, the games were so like one-sided. I was just really happy to put on like good games. Like they
Yeah.
felt like 3 close games that were decision intensive, and like can point to a few things that I kind of did wrong through them, and then it was a lot of back and forth, and yeah, they just felt like good quality games, which is like all we can hope for, really. So yeah, super happy to win. But man, I gotta shout out Domingo. He's such like a nice competitor and cool person to play with. And like there was a turn in game 1 where I just like sped through it without thinking, and then like seconds later I was like, I need to I need to question one thing. That was really dumb, and he was totally cool with it, and it was just
Goodwill.
yeah, like full. You couldn't hope to play against like a nicer competitor. So like yeah, shout out to him.
And it was like kind of karma, right? Because then I think there was in the second game, Domingo played a Friends when there had been a Pete, right? So like obviously we've set the standard. We're like with this as while we're taking it seriously, it's still casual. We're here to have fun. We don't want any regrets. Right. So it all balanced out, right? And both players showed great sportsmanship. So that was awesome. And you're right, LD. They were bangers, mate. Me and Ybreezy have been saying how much we enjoyed those 3 matches, and it's kind of like a weird story because in game 1, it seemed like Domingo had he had double B prep and opening hand, and it seemed like not the greatest start. And LD, you were doing all sorts of Kiwi bird aggro curve things that seemed super powerful, and it felt like you were very much favoured. But Domingo crawling his way back into it had the double Tremaine, and then able to keep you, like you were at 19 lore and he was able to just keep you off it. But then game 2 it was kind of the opposite. Domingo seemed to have like a really strong start, whereas you had a point where you had 3 characters on the board, LD, and 2 in hand, but you couldn't turn anything sideways because there were like Queen of Hearts and Crab Traps and stuff, so it seemed to stalemate a bit, but then it seemed to go your way. What was your opinion? Do you feel like the what's the best word? The match was how do you feel about the swing of the game between those games, between the 2 players? Sorry, terrible way of explaining myself there, but how do you feel like the back and forth went there?
Yeah, I think I get the question. I mean, it's like, yeah, it was it all hinges on like these critical turns, which is that turn you just referenced, where if I did quest, a single crab completely, like almost fully clears my board, and then it's just the game is essentially over. So I think while there is a lot of back and forth, like a lot of it is happening kind of in the things we don't do, if that makes sense. And it's kind of like there's a stalemate, and like as you saw in that third game, I'm just basically thinking, how do I not commit too many cards and just try to draw some stuff and play a bit of a slower, more intentional game and hope that he doesn't draw tons, and getting completely frozen by the library. It's like I can't do anything. I just have to wait until I can clear a library, which is really difficult for Blue Steel to do. If I don't draw both my Scrooges, it's real bad. I'll just lose to a library. But yeah, so yeah, it's just like a lot of it's like a standoff, isn't it? You just kind of sit and don't do much.
Yeah, daring the opponent to do something first, but came out your way. The Manor's putting in an awful lot of work, so much work. Go ahead, Ybreezy. Sorry, here I'm getting carried away.
Oh no,
please cook, my friend. Talk to the man.
That is a great transition. I wanted to mention the Manors. That was my that was kind of the MVP of the games that you did win, where they just gained you so much lore, and you're running 4 of and we kind of see this deck evolve from like the crab version into this. How do you feel about this going into a lot of matchups, and how do you feel about this deck overall?
It's a good question. I don't think I have the answer you actually want. I'll give you an honest answer, though. I registered Blue Steel in week 1 of this tournament because I thought it was the best deck in the format and that I could play a ton of different versions of it and have fun. I quite quickly stopped having fun, but I'm locked to Blue Steel. So I'm looking for I've been playing like tons of green purple in my downtime and focusing on that primarily. So I wanted to switch to like a build that was a bit more linear, and I felt like I was at least trying to play like as close to a similar game as I play with green purple, of trying to just like slowly eke towards, just quest up, curve out, draw some cards. It's a pretty medium game plan. I think Kiwi version of Blue Steel is well positioned and is it's reasonably easy to pick up. It's like a easy to learn, hard to master sort of deck. But if I was, I think moving forward, I might have to go back to the sleeve up my crabs again. It might be for the next round. It might be crab time.
Yeah, I mean, Crab put in a lot of work in this match, and we were saying the MVP of Game 2. Get your thoughts on it, LD, and then maybe that'll segue us nicely into talking to Domingo. Was that 2-cost Queen of Hearts? Game 2 seemed to be putting in an awful lot of work. Was that an annoying card for you?
Yeah, really tough. And in game 2, I specifically messed up when I played that Anna over the Smee because I looked at the 2 in my hand for my turn 2 play, and I thought, well, last game he double Diablo'd on turn 2, and then just crabbed a Diablo. So you know what doesn't get banished by a crabbed Diablo is Anna. I'll just play Anna and then play the Queen of Hearts instead. And then with the Storm that I was holding, the math would have lined up so much better if I just played a Smee and then held back my held back a Singer for that. So yeah, real tough card to play around. Yeah, it's pretty much always going to get a 2-for-1, unless I've just flooded the board and can strength it. So it's a constant threat. It's another one of these things, just adds to the list of stuff that freezes the board and means that we have multiple turns of just staring at each other.
Breezy, anything else that you would like to pick this man's brain on when it comes to blue steel before we talk to our
no, I would have loved to talk about some Amethyst Emerald action, because I know you said you're about to sleeve those up, but no, blue steel, I think Kiwi is in the standpoint of, like you said, it's just in a good position to kind of be linear, win out, and continue to dominate. Shout out to Harlan and the rest of the burbs out there to
100%.
own this deck.
But yeah,
shout out to those guys.
Shout out to those guys. But yeah, on that note, LD, before we let you go and have a chat with Domingo, again, thank you so much for your time. Time is the most precious resource of all, so we're always grateful to the players, the judges, everyone that's involved in the organisation of this, and it's great to watch you play, mate. Any shout-outs, thank yous, plugs, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, thank you to everyone that's involved with making this tournament happen, including you guys. It's it's massive, honor to get to play in it, and it's so cool that we can have games to watch, while we're in this little break of DLCs, that sort of thing. Sure. that we have some we can put on some cool games to watch. So yeah, all the judges, all the people running the tournament, and everything, and the competitors as well. Like I say again, yeah, thank you to Domingo, a really a great competitor. It's just nice to meet people that you've not spoken to before as well, and play some cool games with them. So. Yeah, he really should have won that mill game in round 1. In round 1 of the tournament, that would have been one of the games of all time. That deck that he bought was so cool, and I still think about it quite a lot. Of
so close.
I should have let that one through.
It was a good match.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks to everyone involved, and yeah, looking forward to playing next round.
Amazing, and we look forward to seeing it. But yeah, Lorcana Decklists, you can find him on Twitter, also quite often with Artabax on his channel on the Artacast, one of my favourite pieces of Lorcana content. Again, thank you for your time, LD, and I wish you the great rest of your day, mate.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too.
Take it easy, buddy. Breezy, please talk to our European champion and get us rolling.
Wow. I had the honor of watch him win and now unfortunately lose. The deck was doing the thing game 1. It was fantastic, and unfortunately we just couldn't close the games in games 2 and 3. My biggest question here, looking into this list, the absence of the most beloved, I think, Amethyst cards in the game, the Fox. How do you feel about this list, and was the absence of Fox felt during this matchup?
The problem of the Fox in the meta currently is that most of the characters are like three attack. So most of the time, Fox is going to die in a trade. So you don't like to waste time bouncing something to dying. So that's why you prefer crab interaction with Queen of Hearts or with Cuzco.
Yeah, definitely getting that advantage. And the other addition, which is it felt like the MVP in the game for you, is that Queen of Hearts. It did so much. It was almost like 2-to-1 trades in just about every interaction
Got
she
3
was
for
in.
1 at one point, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. It was so powerful. Just seeing this deck kind of come back from what people assumed was dead is definitely nice. But how do you feel with this list compared to the list you brought last week?
Well, I think that the problem of this deck is that currently it can face at the same time blue-red and blue-steel. Because if you want to face blue-steel, you need Queen of Hearts, you need a lot of crabs that are useless versus blue-red
Red-blue,
when you want to red-blue when you want to run versus blue-red, red-blue. Also, if you want to face blue-red, you need locations, and locations are very bad versus blue-steel. So that's the problem of this deck currently. That is the issues that I see.
It contradicts itself depending on like your most popular matchups. I can see that theory for sure. Domingo, it's great to have you on, mate. Met you at the European Championship, and what an event it was. So it's great to see you in this event, buddy. And obviously, as a Ruby Amethyst enthusiast, I'm glad that someone was representing the colours. And you've been kind of going through the greatest hits. You started off week 1 with the mill variant that a lot of people super enjoyed. Week 2, you went on to the heavy location build, sort of popularised by Taris Black as of late. And this, to me, is very akin to the list that Ed, the North American champion, released. Were those your inspirations for these decks, and was that kind of part of what you wanted to use this event to do, like show off and try out the different builds of Ruby Amethyst?
Was I didn't hear?
So the last 3
Hello?
weeks, can you hear me, Domingo?
Yeah, sorry, I have a little connection problems.
Okay, can you hear me now, or am I cracking up still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me now. Yeah, I was just saying all 3 weeks you've brought different versions of Ruby Amethyst. Was that always the intention, that you wanted to sort of show off these different ways of building the decks and trying them yourself to see which ones you enjoyed?
Because I want to raise red, red purple, but it is being difficult. The first one with the mill deck, it was just a try that I wanted to make because I think that I have the illusion that in the future a mill deck will be viable to play.
In the future, I agree. I bet it will.
Yeah, in the future. Now not. It's impossible. Then I wanted to try those different versions that have been released with the locations, and now with Queen of Hearts. But Red Purple, it's been very hard to play in this meta, so I don't think that I don't know if I able to continue with these colors. I would like, because I'm a Red Purple
That's
player.
fair enough.
It is in my heart, but I don't know.
Everyone should play the game whatever way they want. Enjoying the game is what matters the most, and so
yeah.
you play whatever's going to help you continue to enjoy the game. But nonetheless, we know you're super good with the deck type. Obviously, winning the European Championships with it, and it's been great to see you pilot 3 different versions of the deck. Unfortunately, this does take you out of the LCCC, but I want to say on behalf of all of us, again, it's been great to have you on the cast. Hopefully that we'll get the opportunity to see you again. Again, you are indeed qualified for the World Championship, so whenever that turns out to be, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on you as the European rep and wishing you the best of luck. Before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you want to give, any thank yous, any plugs for your own content or friends or your LGS, anything you'd like to say to the Lorcana community?
Yeah, first of all, thank you all, the judge, Babel, the commentaries. I hope you, Lorcana Villain, have seen this song Be Prepared when I played them.
Twice.
Thank you, my teammates. Thank you, my teammates that support me. Well, you can follow my teammate Lucky Dimers in Twitter
Link below.
and Instagram. And I felt that these 2 games I didn't play well, so I promised that in the World Champions I play better, and maybe we run me analysis. I hope.
I certainly hope. Yeah, wishing you the best, man. And you did play well. Again, like LD said, there was a lot of really close decisions there. So it was a pleasure to watch, but I can't wait to see how you get on at the World Championship, mate. But yeah, shout out to you. Your Twitter will be linked down below. Domingo, thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. And there he goes. So that's it, my villains. That brings us to the end of this round 3 match.
Wow.
Lorcana Decklist being 2-1 and going on to the next round. But that is not all of the LC3 action left today. Tell the people, Breezy, what else have they got coming?
They have another fantastic match. It's not over. It's nowhere near over. It ain't done just yet. Because you can check out twitch.tv at Wonderlands in just about an hour and a half.
Link down below.
Link down below where another LC
LC3, Breezy. I'm going to get everyone doing this, I swear.
LC3? Okay.
So much easier.
I don't want to get gimmick infringements. You know what I mean?
No. We're shipping this. We're shipping LC3.
I don't want EC3 to come to us and be like, hey, man, let's stop. But you can go on twitch.tv/Wonderland with 2 V's, V Wonderland, and get into the other action with Artabax cooking up some spice.
Can't wait, mate. Can't wait. Breezy, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel, mate. Thank you so much for joining me. Ybreezy's Twitter is linked down below. Make sure you are following the man. But that's going to be it. We're going to do a little manual raid. I see that Lorcana Goons, the homie, is streaming a bit of Pixel Connect right now. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. And we're all going to go on a little raid. Worth mentioning, this stream is on a 5-minute delay. So that being the case, I'm just going to keep the stream open for another 5 minutes on the starting the Be Right Back screen, which I'll move to in a minute. But other than that, Breezy, I want to say one more time, thank you so much for joining me, mate. Any plugs or what have you got going on at the moment? What's the next big thing going on that people should find you and track you down for?
Well, actually, I do have something exciting to kind of share.
Cool.
We are officially 8 followers away on twitch.tv/Ybreezy to get to that big 1,000 follower count. And once we do that, I am planning to do a 24-hour stream where everything we get from that said stream is going to go to a amazing charity of my choice, and we're gonna go off from there. It's gonna be 24 hours of pure Lorcana fun, pure shenanigans. We will bring back the shoey. We'll probably dunk our heads to some ice water to lock back in, and it's gonna be fantastic time. We're gonna have incentives to do some fun shenanigans, but it's all for a good cause, and I can't wait to do it. And if you do hit that follow, I'll be forever appreciative of that, because I do want to do this for good causes. So it's gonna be good stuff.
Love that. I don't know why music has suddenly started playing. I don't know what's happened.
That's okay. It made it more epic. It's okay.
There you go. No, I didn't even trigger that myself. I was going to have to work that out in a minute. Nonetheless, before we go, Lorcana community, acknowledge me!
Acknowledge this man, because he's the greatest to ever touch this business. He's the greatest to ever do it. He might be playing goats for a gosh darn reason.
Bees to the sky, my villains. Bees to the sky. This has been Baker Bulbasaur. This has been Baker Bulbasaur. That was my last channel. This has been Lorcana Villain and Ybreezy. I will see you soon.